Chapter 868. Here, give me a glass. Zhang Depeng threw out a top-grade spirit stone, grabbed a glass of iced beer, and drank it all in one breath. Comfortable, refreshing, it's really beautiful. Zhang Depeng was originally a foodie. A spicy pot and a glass of iced beer could not satisfy him at all. He immediately took out a handful of top-grade spirit stones and threw them in front of Qin Haodong. Junior brother, what delicious food do you have? Give me more. I want 10 glasses of this wine. Seeing that he took out so many top-grade spirit stones so readily, needless to say, the others also knew that the spicy pot was a rare delicacy. They immediately took out money and shouted for a serving as soon as possible. Qin Haodong put away the top-grade spirit stones and happily got busy. Soon he made a large pot of spicy pot and countless iced beers were distributed. Brother, I really admire your cooking. I've lived for so many years, but I've never eaten such delicious food. After drinking several bottles of beer, Zhang Depeng was a little drunk. He reached out and put his arm around Qin Haodong's shoulder. In the future, I won't cultivate anymore when I make money. I'll come here to buy spicy pot and drink iced beer. A student next to him laughed and said, Fatty Zhang, don't you dream of passing the tribulation and becoming an immortal as soon as possible? Have you given up your dream? Zhang Depeng picked up the beer and said with a smile, with this delicious food, I'm as happy as an immortal. There's no need for me to ascend. They were about the same age, so they were more familiar with each other after eating and drinking. Zhang Depeng said, Junior brother, you've just arrived at our academy. Why haven't I seen you before? Qin Haodong said, we're freshmen this year. We just registered today. Brother Qin is this year's newcomer king. His cultivation has already reached the divine transformation realm, which is a little higher than mine. It's really enviable. It was another tall and thin student who spoke. He happened to be present when Qin Haodong and Dong Zhenjiang challenged each other and saw the whole process clearly. He added, Brother Qin, I watched your challenge with Dong Zhenjiang. You're really young and promising. But I have to remind you that Dong Zhenjiang's cultivation is nothing at all, but he has a powerful elder brother, Dong Zhenhai, a fourth-year student. Zhang Depeng said in surprise, What? Did you teach Dong Zhenjiang a lesson? Qin Haodong briefly told him what had happened. After listening, Zhang Depeng said, Dong Zhenjiang is really annoying. Relying on the power of his brother Dong Zhenhai, he flirts with girls everywhere and bullies new students. It's great to teach him a lesson. However, you have to be careful. Dong Zhenhai is very protective of his people. Since you hit his brother, I'm afraid he'll come looking for you. Qin Haodong asked, Brother Zhang, who is Dong Zhenhai? It sounds pretty powerful. You've just arrived at our academy, so there are some things you don't know yet. Let me tell you, our academy has the top 10 experts. These people are absolutely not to be provoked. Qin Haodong was new here, so he didn't know much about the situation in Black Tortoise College. When he heard the title of the top 10 masters, he asked with great interest, Brother Zhang, tell me, who are the top 10 masters? Zhang Depeng raised his head and drank all the beer in his glass. Then he said, the top 10 experts of our academy are summarized as 5 dragons and 3 phoenixes, 1 immortal, and 1 demon. Dong Zhenhai is one of the 5 dragons. Hearing him talking excitedly, Zhao Xingyue also put down the chopsticks in her hand and listened. Zhang Depeng continued, we call the capable students dragons and phoenixes. Men are dragons, and women are phoenixes. The 5 dragons are the 5 most outstanding male students, from the 2nd grade to the 4th grade. They are Xiao Yulong, Shui Pan, He Kaishan, Jiang Qingzhou, and Dong Zhenhai. The 3 phoenixes are Yun Qianqian, Fang Qiong, and Song Junyu. The immortal is Murong Jingheng, and the demon is Luo Hongying. Although Dong Zhenhai ranks last among the top 10 masters, his strength is tyrannical. He has reached the early stage of the void refinement stage, which is comparable to some low-level teachers in the school. Moreover, this person is extremely protective. Since you hit Dong Zhenjiang, he will definitely come looking for trouble. Qin Haodong didn't care about this. As long as he had enough spirit stones, it was only a matter of time before he broke through to the void refinement stage. Brother Zhang, who is the most powerful among the 10? Zhang Dapeng said, it's hard to say. Some say it's Murong Jinghong, and some say it's Luo Hongying. Qin Haodong asked, why is it hard to say? Haven't they fought each other? It's very complicated. Zhang Dapeng took a big gulp of beer. Just as he was about to have a good chat, a girl dressed in white suddenly appeared at the entrance of the courtyard. Her hair was combed into 2 braids, and her round cheeks had a little baby fat on them. She looked beautiful and cute. It smells so good. What are you eating? What's so fragrant? The girl sniffed hard, showing an intoxicated expression. The corners of her mouth were sparkling, and it seemed that she was drooling. Oh my God, the little witch is here. Run! Someone shouted, and the people who were eating happily suddenly scattered like birds and beasts. In an instant, there was no one left. Zhang Dapeng didn't even have time to drink the remaining half glass of beer. He lifted his butt and ran away. What's going on? Seeing everyone's reaction, Qin Haodong and Zhao Xingyue were a little confused. Wasn't it just a little girl and a freshman student? Was she so scary? At this time, the little girl had already jumped into the yard. She looked at the spicy pot and licked her lips hard. She said pitifully, little brother, can you give me some? Qin Haodong said, 1 top-grade spirit stone for the spicy pot and 1 top-grade spirit stone for a cup of beer. The little girl said pitifully, little brother, but I have no money and I really want to eat. Qin Haodong looked at her. Her greedy expression was very much like his daughter Tang Tang. Thinking of the little fellow on earth, he couldn't help feeling warm. He didn't even accept the spirit stone and said, you can eat. I won't charge you. Great, thank you, little brother. The little girl pulled a chair and sat down. She picked up the chopsticks and ate quickly. It's delicious, it's really delicious. The little girl looked very slender, but her appetite was shockingly big. Soon, she finished the whole pot of spicy fragrant pot. It's so spicy. She stuck out her tongue cutely, took the Sprite that Qin Haodong handed over and drank it up. Little brother, how did you make such delicious food? Can I come here to eat more often in the future? Qin Haodong patted her on the head and said, yes, I'll cook delicious food for you when you come. Little brother, you're so nice. The little girl said excitedly, my name is Luo Hongying. Everyone calls me Little Witch. I'll protect you in Black Tortoise Academy from now on, so if anyone dares to bully you, just say my name. Qin Haodong was slightly stunned. He didn't expect that the cute little girl in front of him was the famous Little Witch, one of the top 10 masters of Black Tortoise Academy. If those people hadn't been scared and fled, he would have thought that he had made a mistake. At the same time, he was very confused. Luo Hongying's cultivation was only at the late stage of God transformation, which was not much different from Zhang Dapeng's. How could she become one of the top 10 masters of Black Tortoise Academy and have a chance to become the top master? He asked, little sister, why were those people so afraid of you just now? Luo Hongying said, I've taught a few of them a lesson, especially that fatty. I once summoned a slug to sleep with him for 1 night. He was so disgusted that he couldn't eat for a month. After that, he ran away when he saw me. The little girl giggled as she spoke, as if she was talking about something extremely amusing. Zhao Xingyue was very close to her. When she heard about summoning a slug, she suddenly felt numb all over and quietly moved a little to the side. Qin Haodong somewhat understood what was going on and asked, are you a summoner? Luo Hongying said, yes, I'm a summoner. Qin Haodong asked, it seems that you've been in the academy for some years and you're one of the top 10 masters. Why are you still wearing the freshman uniform? It's a long story. Little brother, do you have any delicious food? I'll tell you while eating. The little girl looked at Qin Haodong pitifully as she spoke. This is for you. Qin Haodong said as he took out a plate of golden roast chicken wings and gave it to her. Oh my god, this is so delicious. Luo Hongying grabbed a chicken wing and finished it in a few bites. Then, she began to tell her story. When I was 16 years old, I had reached the late stage of soul formation and entered the Black Tortoise Academy. But from then on, the Holy Spirit body was awakened and I became a summoner. Since then, my cultivation has not increased. Now I'm 20 years old, but I'm still at the late stage of soul formation. Our school has special rules for promotion. Promotion has nothing to do with the level of cultivation, but depends on the extent of your growth. For example, when you enter the school, you are at the early stage of soul formation. Only when you reach the middle stage of soul formation can you become a second-year student. Qin Haodong nodded and asked, but I just heard that you're one of the top 10 masters in the academy and can even compete with Murong Jinghong, the Jinghong fairy. What's going on? I'm a summoner. Of course, I rely on summoning magical beasts to fight. Luo Hongying said while gnawing on the chicken wing. I fought with Murong Jinghong twice. I won once and lost once, so it was a draw. Qin Haodong said, our academy should also have rules for summoners to advance. You can't always stay in the first grade, right? There is. The academy also has a special assessment for summoners. As long as you pass the assessment, you can also advance. It's a pity that I'm unlucky. The little girl said angrily, although I'm a summoner, I have the Holy Spirit body. When the old man first said it, I thought it was awesome. Later, I realized that this bullshit Holy Spirit body was not accurate at all. Every time I summon a creature, it's different. Sometimes it's very powerful, and sometimes it's pitifully weak. I might summon a top demonic dragon or an ant. I've gone through 4 assessments over the years, and the first time I summoned a 5-colored guinea fowl. This thing has no combat power except for its beautiful cry. I was so angry that I roasted it and ate it. Maybe the old man's cooking skills are not good. That 5-colored guinea fowl doesn't taste good at all. It can't be compared with the chicken wings made by little brother. Qin Haodong was speechless. This little girl was really a foodie. She actually ate the summoned magical beast. Luo Hongying continued, in the second assessment, I summoned a rabbit. In the third assessment, I summoned a mouse. In the fourth assessment, I actually summoned a sheep. It was really infuriating, so I repeated 4 years in a row and am still in the first grade. Qin Haodong looked at the little girl's angry face and couldn't help laughing. Is it because you're unlucky or you're not strong enough? Have you ever summoned a powerful demonic beast? Chapter 869. Of course. Otherwise, why would those people be so afraid of me? The little girl said with a proud face, last time when I challenged Murong Jinghong, I summoned a 6th-rank demon beast, Earth Bear. If she didn't rely on the sharpness of her sword, she wouldn't have been able to beat me. That's not the most powerful time. When I was practicing with the old man, I summoned an 8th-rank demon beast, Hell Phoenix. The old man was so scared that he turned around and ran away. Qin Haodong secretly smacked his lips. An 8th-rank demon beast was comparable to a cultivator at the Mahayana stage. Anyone would run away when they saw it. However, the strength of the little girl in front of him was too uncertain. She was the most unreliable summoner. No wonder no one was sure who was the number 1 master. The little girl ate while talking. It didn't take long for her to finish the plate of braised chicken wings in front of her. At the same time, she drank 2 glasses of Sprite. She burped and patted her belly without caring about her image. Little brother, the food you made is so delicious that it's going to kill me. At this moment, there was a noise at the entrance of the courtyard. More than a dozen people came in from the outside. The leader was a young man in his 20s. He looked very similar to Dong Zhenjiang. He was his brother, Dong Zhenhai, who ranked 10th in the Black Tortoise Academy. Feeling that these people came with bad intentions, Zhao Xingyue quickly hid behind Qin Haodong and grabbed his arm nervously. After entering the door, Dong Zhenjiang pointed to Qin Haodong and shouted, Big Brother, this is the guy who pretended to be a pig to eat a tiger. Not only did he beat me, but he also cheated more than 100 top-grade spirit stones. You must help me vent my anger. Dong Junhai looked at Qin Haodong with disdain in his eyes. He said arrogantly, "You're just a student who has just registered. How dare you play such dirty tricks in the academy? Hurry up and return my brother's spirit stones and apologize to him. Otherwise, you won't be able to survive in Black Tortoise Academy in the future." A few followers next to him also shouted, "That's right. How dare you cheat our brother Dong's spirit stones? Are you tired of living? Hurry up and take out the money. Otherwise, we'll beat you until your mother can't recognize you. Boy, hurry up and kowtow to my brother Dong. Otherwise, you won't be able to survive in Black Tortoise Academy. What are you shouting for? Xian Wu Academy is opened by your family, yet you're talking big." Luo Hongying threw the chopsticks in her hand on the table, turned around and shouted at these people, "Who dares to shout in my little brother's house? Do you want to die?" The little she-devil had just eaten with her back to the courtyard door, and these people went straight to Qin Haodong after coming in, so they didn't notice her at all. "Who is it? How dare you talk to our big brother like that?" Dong Junjiang was beaten up and lost more than 100 top-quality spirit stones. Now that he had his big brother to back him up, he wanted to vent his anger. However, when he saw Luo Hongying's cute face, he was so scared that he was like a rooster that was strangled. He didn't dare to say anything else. Little witch. Not only was Dong Junjiang dumbfounded, but everyone present was also stunned. They never thought that they would meet Luo Hongying here. Although Dong Junhai was not as fearful as the others, his expression became grave. Didn't they say that this kid just registered today? How did he get involved with this little devil? It seemed that their relationship was not shallow. "Luo Hongying, why are you here?" After all, he was one of the top 10 masters in the campus. Although he was afraid of the little devil, he still needed to save his face. He couldn't just turn around and run away. The little devil clapped her hands and walked to Qin Haodong's side. She took his other arm and said, "Dong Junhai, I tell you, this is my little brother. If you make trouble for him, it is equal to making trouble for me. Get out of here." Qin Haodong looked at Dong Junhai. He had reached the early stage of void refinement, which was much stronger than his idiot brother. He hadn't had time to improve his cultivation. If they really fought, it would be a bit troublesome. In this case, it was best to let the little devil handle it. Seeing the little devil openly protecting Qin Haodong, Dong Junhai said with a sullen face, "Luo Hongying, this kid publicly cheated my brother of more than 100 top-quality spirit stones. Even if you protect him, you should at least give us an explanation. Dong Junhai, don't you have any shame?" Luo Hongying pointed at Dong Junjiang's nose and shouted, "I saw what happened today clearly. It was your idiot brother who didn't know what was good for him. He insisted on dragging people onto the stage and even made a bet with them. Now he lost and is not convinced, so he asked you to support him. Do you really think the Black Tortoise Academy is owned by your family?" Dong Junjiang said unconvinced. He pretended to be a pig to eat a tiger. If he didn't hide his cultivation and directly showed that he was at the late stage of soul formation, why would I challenge him? In that case, he must have cheated me of my money. Luo Hongying cried, "Dong Junjiang, my little brother's cultivation has nothing to do with you. You are blind and you blame others?" If it was on other occasions, Dong Junhai would have backed down, but today it was about his brother, and more than 100 spirit stones were not a small number. He said with a sullen face, "Qin Haodong, for Luo Hongying's sake, as long as you give me 120 top-quality spirit stones today, I won't argue with you anymore." Before Qin Haodong could speak, Luo Hongying cried, "Bah! You lost and you still want your money back? Get out of here." Zhong Zhenhai said angrily, "Luo Hongying, this is the Black Tortoise Academy. Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because your grandfather is the vice president. Do I have what I want? I'm not bullying you, but I'm going to practice my summoning skills here with my little brother." A sly smile appeared on the little witch's face, and then a crystal ball about the size of a volleyball suddenly appeared in her palm. The crystal ball was light blue. Luo Hongying patted it gently, and the crystal ball glowed blue, instantly outlining a huge hexagram in the air. Following that, a large door slowly rose up from the hexagram. This door looked extremely heavy and ancient. It was 5 zhang wide and 10 zhang tall. There seemed to be countless figures of light cheering around it. At the same time, it was accompanied by the sounds of insects and beasts. The Living Spirit Gate. Dong Zhenhai's expression changed greatly, but he was not particularly flustered. The little witch's summoning skills were notoriously unreliable. Perhaps she would only summon a demonic beast without any attack power. Qin Haodong also looked at the Living Spirit Gate with great interest. He did not know what the most unreliable summoner could summon. Living Spirit Gate, open. Creatures of the alien world, listen to my call. Come on, my baby. After Luo Hongying's clear voice sounded, the simple Living Spirit Gate slowly opened, and a black shadow rushed out of it. A Cerberus? Everyone present was shocked. The Cerberus was a famous rank 6 demonic beast. It was extremely fierce, and cultivators below the void training stage could not resist it at all. Dong Zhenhai managed to calm down. Although the Cerberus was fierce, he was also an expert at the void training stage. A Cerberus could not do anything to him. But suddenly, his expression changed greatly, because 5 or 6 black shadows rushed out of the Living Spirit Gate. They were all Cerberus. Among the people he brought, he was the only void training stage expert. The others were all deity transformation stage cultivators. There was no way they could fight against so many Cerberus. Now that things had come to this, he only had one choice, and that was to run as far as he could. Qin Haodong, just you wait. Luo Hongying can't protect you forever. After leaving these harsh words, Dong Zhenhai quickly fled the courtyard with Dong Zhenjiang and the others. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared without a trace. Giggle, 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 fun, really fun. The little witch giggled. After all, the other party was a student of the Black Tortoise Academy, not an enemy. She did not let the Cerberus attack, and casually recalled them back to the Living Spirit Gate. After putting away the crystal ball, she shook Qin Haodong's arm and said, "Little brother, you're really lucky. I was afraid that I would summon another colorful guinea fowl. If that happened, I would have to ask you to cook it for me. You little foodie, you only know how to eat all day." Qin Haodong had a very good impression of this little witch. He patted her head and said, "Dong Zhenhai just said that your grandfather is the vice dean. What's going on?" Luo Hongying said, "What's so strange about that?" "My grandfather is the vice dean, Luo Dongqing, an old man who loves to drink." "Oh, it turns out to be him." Qin Haodong did not expect Luo Hongying to be Luo Dongqing's granddaughter. The grandfather and granddaughter were really unique. One was addicted to alcohol, and the other was a complete foodie. "Do you know my grandfather?" Qin Haodong said, "He bought 2 bottles of wine from me. No wonder my grandfather was so drunk. It turned out that he bought the wine from you." The little witch said, "I'll go back and see if the old man has woken up. I'll come to see you tomorrow. You must cook for me." After saying that, she left the dormitory, leaving only Qin Haodong and Zhao Xingyue in the yard. He counted the spirit stones he had just received. There were as many as 80 of them. Plus the 120 he had won from the challenge platform, he now had 200 top-grade spirit stones. After putting away the top-grade spirit stones, he said to Zhao Xingyue, "Now that we have money, I'll talk to Mr. Zhou and rent the dormitory next door for you." "No. No. I don't want to live there. I'll be scared at night alone." Zhao Xingyue took Qin Haodong's arm and said pitifully, "Don't leave me alone, okay? Well, this is the Black Tortoise Academy. There are no bad guys here. What's there to be afraid of? That won't do. I'm just scared. I want to be with you all the time." Qin Haodong was speechless. As a warrior, she was so timid. There was really no one else like her. Well, let's live together first. We'll talk about the dormitory later. Then he simply cleaned up the garbage in the yard and took Zhao Xingyue into the house. The conditions of the dormitory were quite good. There was a separate bathroom and a separate toilet. After taking a shower, they were ready to go to bed. After taking a shower, Qin Haodong changed into a pair of loose pants. His upper body was bare, revealing his strong muscles and clearly visible waistline. Looking at his strong body, Zhao Xingyue couldn't help blushing. She had never seen a man's body up close in her life. Qin Haodong looked at her and said, "Why don't you change your clothes?" Zhao Xingyue said in surprise, "We're not going out." "Why should I change my clothes?" Qin Haodong said in astonishment, "Don't you wear pajamas at night?" Zhao Xingyue asked with a puzzled face, "What are pajamas?" Qin Haodong was speechless for a while. It seemed that the material civilization here was still extremely backward. There were even no pajamas. He took out a black lace pajamas from the storage ring and said, "This is for you. Try it on. It's very comfortable to sleep." Chapter 870. This dress feels so comfortable. Zhao Xingyue stroked the pajamas and said, "But can I really wear it?" Qin Haodong said, "Of course, it's for you to sleep. You can't sleep in the school uniform, can you?" He didn't have any other ideas, but as the school uniform of Black Tortoise School, the school paid more attention to the quality and wear resistance. The material of the clothes was extremely hard. Even a big man would be very uncomfortable to sleep in, let alone a woman with delicate skin. Zhao Xingyue said with a blush, "But I've never worn this kind of clothes, and I've never seen anyone wear it. I'm a little scared." "What's so scary about wearing clothes? Are you afraid that I'm a bad person? Or I'll open another dormitory for you." No, I know Brother Qin is a good person. I'll wear it." Zhao Xingyue was extremely timid, but Qin Haodong could bring her a great sense of security. It seemed that he was afraid that she would live alone, so she quickly took the pajamas and went into the bathroom. Qin Haodong shook his head and made a bed on the ground. There was only one bed in the room. Since they couldn't sleep in the same bed, he couldn't let a woman sleep on the ground. The door opened and Zhao Xingyue came out again. "Brother Qin, is this really okay?" Zhao Xingyue walked into the bedroom with a shy look. The pajamas in Qin Haodong's ring were prepared for his woman, so he wouldn't be too conservative. At this time, Zhao Xingyue was wearing a black lace suspender pajamas, which only covered the most important parts of a woman. Her white and smooth shoulders and slender and straight thighs were exposed to the air. This kind of beautiful scenery coupled with a shy expression brought unimaginable lethality to a man. Qin Haodong was slightly stunned at first, and then he quickly looked away and said, not bad, go to sleep." "Well," Zhao Xingyue answered and lay down on the bed. She covered her body with the quilt, but her face was burning. After calming down, she slowly felt that sleeping in this kind of pajamas was much more comfortable than before. Qin Haodong said, "You're so timid. How did you have the courage to run out alone?" Zhao Xingyue hesitated for a moment and said in a very soft voice, "I was originally with my family, but then we ran into a monster and got separated." Although Qin Haodong didn't see her expression, he could guess that she was lying to him from her voice. Since she didn't want to tell him, he didn't ask further. After that, neither of them spoke again, and the two of them quickly fell asleep. Early the next morning, the sun rose from the east. Not long after dawn, there was a violent knock on the door. "Little big brother, wake up, I'm coming." It was Luo Hongying, that little devil girl. She came here early in the morning. Qin Haodong opened the door and looked at the cheerful little witch. "Why are you here so early?" Luo Hongying cried, "It's not early, not early. Little brother, what delicious food are you cooking for me today? I'm starving to death." It was said that to conquer a man's heart, one must first conquer his stomach. This saying seemed to apply to women as well. At this time, the little devil's stomach had been completely conquered by Qin Haodong's food. After tasting his cooking, eating other things tasted like wax, without any taste at all. In addition, this girl was a real foodie, so she endured for a whole night and came here early. Looking at the cute little girl, Qin Haodong raised his hand and threw a bag of potato chips. You eat first, I'll cook now. What is this? Little big brother's food must be delicious. Although she didn't know what it was, the little devil opened the bag excitedly, took out a potato chip from inside and put it in her mouth. Crunch, crunch. After chewing a few times, an indescribably wonderful taste quickly occupied her taste buds. Potato chips seemed to be born for girls. On the earth, where all kinds of delicious food had been tasted, it was one of the essential snacks for many girls, not to mention in the Lingwu continent where food culture was extremely backward. Delicious, it's really delicious. Little big brother, how did you make this thing? Although the little girl was already 20 years old, she acted completely like a child. After eating a few potato chips, she was so happy that she jumped up and down, as if she was about to fly. What's delicious? Can I try some? Hearing her movements, Zhao Xingyue came out of the bedroom. Although she was not a full-blown foodie like the little devil, it was in women's nature to like food. This is the potato chip, little big brother gave it to me. The little devil said as she handed over the potato chips in her hand. Then she saw the black lace pajamas that Zhao Xingyue was wearing, and suddenly a pair of beautiful big eyes opened wide. Sister Xingyue, what are you wearing? It looks so beautiful, I've never seen it before. Zhao Xingyue said with a red face, this is the pajamas that Brother Qin gave me. It's very comfortable when I sleep. The little devil stuffed the potato chips into Zhao Xingyue's hand, and then kept stroking the pajamas. This clothes feels so comfortable, as smooth as your skin. Then she turned around and shouted to Qin Haodong, little big brother. Little big brother, I also like this kind of pajamas. Can you give me one too? Sure. Qin Haodong's ring was well stocked, and he threw out a pink pajamas. That's great, I have pajamas too. I'm going to wear them soon. The little girl shouted happily as she took her pajamas into the bathroom. Soon, she ran out of the bathroom in a hurry. Little big brother, Sister Xingyue, do you think I look good in pajamas? The little she-devil said as she spun around happily on the ground. Hearing the shouting, Qin Haodong walked out of the kitchen. When he saw the little devil wearing a pink spaghetti-strap pajamas, his eyes suddenly lit up. At the same time, he secretly praised in his heart. Although this little girl looked very cute, her body was definitely not cute. She was even much bigger than Zhao Xingyue. Her rather large chest kept rising and falling as she jumped up and down. It really felt like a surging wave. A loli's face coupled with such a hot body, this was the legendary giant with a child's face. Little big brother, why aren't you saying anything? Is it because I don't look as good as Sister Xingyue in it? The little girl bounced in front of Qin Haodong. Stop jumping, I'm really dizzy. Qin Haodong hurriedly stopped the little devil and at the same time forced himself to look to the side. Little big brother, do I look good? Yes, very good, but I'm going to cook for you now. Great, I'll go out and let them all have a look. These are the clothes that little big brother gave me. Although they were both women, the little devil did not have the shyness of Zhao Xingyue at all. She wore a spaghetti-strap pajamas and was about to run out. Qin Haodong quickly pulled her back. You can't go out in this. Why? The little girl blinked her big eyes and asked, are you afraid that they will all come to you for clothes? Qin Haodong said with a frown, this is called pajamas. It's worn when you sleep. You can only show it to your family and the people closest to you. You can't wear it on the street. Oh. Then I'll wear it for little big brother in the future. The little girl said with a smile. Well. Actually, I can't see it either. Hurry up and change back. The little devil asked in surprise, why? Because we're not particularly close. But Sister Xingyue can wear pajamas for you every day. Why can't I? Qin Haodong said a little awkwardly, that's because we're living together for the time being. There's no other way. Oh. I see. The little girl looked as if she had suddenly understood. Qin Haodong had just breathed a sigh of relief when he heard her say, I'll go back today and tell the old man that I'll move in and sleep with little big brother tonight. Qin Haodong was speechless. No, there's no bed here. There's no place for you to sleep. It doesn't matter. I can sleep in the same bed as Sister Xingyue. That's not good, is it? Qin Haodong really did not want the little devil to live here. Otherwise, there would be no peaceful days here in the future. However, the little girl obviously did not want to give up. She took Qin Haodong's arm and shook it violently. Little brother, just let me live here. Please. It was the first time that the little devil had worn spaghetti strap pajamas, so she was not familiar with the knots. In addition, she had just jumped so violently that the buttons of the pajamas suddenly loosened. In an instant, everything that should and should not be seen was exposed in front of Qin Haodong. Although the little girl looked a little careless, she still knew the most basic common sense. She was stunned at first, then she screamed and covered her chest with her hands. However, the scale of that place was not something that could be covered by two small hands. Qin Haodong was also in a hurry. He wanted to help her put on her clothes, but it was not convenient for a man like him to do it. Fortunately, Zhao Xingyue came to help. She hurriedly put the little girl's pajamas back on. The little devil was really insensitive. After putting on her clothes, she quickly returned to normal. She took Qin Haodong's arm again and said, Do you agree or not? If you don't agree, I'll tell Grandpa that you took advantage of me. You're blackmailing me. Qin Haodong was speechless. Since the little girl came to him, he had given her whatever she wanted, but now he was blackmailed. The little girl blinked her big eyes and asked, What do you mean by blackmailing me? Blackmailing me is... Forget it, I won't explain it to you. If you want to live here, just live here. Oh. That's great. Big brother finally agreed. The little girl took Qin Haodong's arm and jumped again. Don't jump, don't jump. It'll be bad if you jump off your clothes later. Qin Haodong hurriedly stopped her and ran into the kitchen to make breakfast. Half an hour later, he put the rice porridge, steamed buns, and side dishes on the table. Then he asked the two girls to come over to eat together. Delicious, it's really delicious. The little girl said while eating the steamed buns, Little brother, after eating the food you made, I can't leave you for the rest of my life. Zhao Xingyue didn't speak, but she didn't know why she also had this feeling in her heart. She didn't want to leave this good man who not only brought her a sense of security but also brought her delicious food. Qin Haodong shook his head. She was really a foodie. She could cheat away a delicious food. After breakfast, Zhao Xingyue said, Brother Qin, let's go to class together. You two go. I'm going to the pharmacists' union to choose some medicinal materials. Although Qin Haodong had 200 top-grade spirit stones in his hand, it was far from enough to break through from the soul formation stage to the void training stage. The most important thing now was to refine pills and make more money. Chapter 871. Little brother, why don't we go with you? The little she-devil said eagerly. Although Zhao Xingyue didn't say anything, she nodded repeatedly. She didn't want to be separated from Qin Haodong. Today is the first day of school. It's not good for you to skip class. You should go to class. Qin Haodong was ready to refine the elixir after buying the Star Moon Bodhi seed. He didn't want the little witch to mess around with him. But little brother, why should we go to class if you don't go to class? I'm different from you. In terms of cultivation experience and knowledge, Qin Haodong was definitely above those teachers. Therefore, he didn't need to go to class. All he needed was enough top-grade spirit stones. Seeing that the little witch was about to say something, he immediately used his trump card, if you don't listen to me, you can go to the cafeteria to eat. Listen. Listen. Ever since she tasted Qin Haodong's food, the little witch would never go to the cafeteria to eat. She nodded and said, "We'll go to class now." Qin Haodong smiled as he watched the two girls walk towards the classroom. Then, he walked to the Alchemist Union. It was his second time here, so he was already familiar with the place. He came to the counter and said to the waiter, "I want this Star Moon Bodhi seed." The waiter said politely, "Student, do you have an alchemist medal?" Qin Haodong was slightly stunned. "I need a medal to buy medicine." "Can't ordinary students buy medicine here?" The waiter explained, "It's not like that. Ordinary people can also buy medicine here, but there's no discount. If you're a first-grade alchemist, you can buy medicine here at a 10% discount. A second-grade alchemist can buy medicine here at a 20% discount, and so on." Qin Haodong said in surprise, "If I'm a 9th-grade alchemist, won't I get a 10% discount?" The waiter said, "You really know how to joke. The highest level in our school is a 7th-grade alchemist, the president of our Alchemist Union. This rule is set by the Alchemist Union. It's to encourage our students to learn alchemy as much as possible." Qin Haodong nodded. He had now seen through it. The whole Black Tortoise Academy's incentive mechanism was the temptation of money. He asked again, "If I have the alchemist medal, will there be any other preferential treatment?" The waiter said, "If you have an alchemist medal, you can sell the refined medicinal herbs to our Alchemist Union. We don't dare to accept medicinal ingredients refined by alchemists without a medal. Similarly, the higher the rank, the higher the price. A 1-star alchemist's price is 10% higher than the market price, a 2-star alchemist's price is 20% higher, and so on." Qin Haodong thought about it. The treatment of an alchemist was really good. It seemed that he had to get a medal first. Not only would he have a discount when buying raw materials, but he could also earn more spirit stones when selling. "Student, do you have an apothecary medal?" "Not yet, but I can take the exam." Qin Haodong said, "How do I take the exam for the alchemist medal?" The waiter was slightly stunned and then said, "Student, it seems that you still don't know the industry of alchemists. In the whole Lingwu continent, the status of alchemists is extremely high because every cultivator needs to buy medicinal pills from them. It's also very difficult to become an alchemist. I advise you to study for a while and then apply for the exam." Qin Haodong said, "You don't have to worry about that. Just tell me how to take the exam." The waiter shook his head and said, "Turn left from here and you'll reach the examination room for the alchemist medal. But I advise you to think about it carefully. Because every time you take the exam, you need to pay 10 top-grade spirit stones as an exam fee. If you don't have enough confidence, you won't have the money. 10 top-grade spirit stones, so expensive?" Qin Haodong finally felt that it was really difficult to take a step in Black Tortoise Academy without money. The waiter said, "The exam naturally has a fee, and the academy also has a cost. If there is no threshold, there will be endless students coming to take the exam every day, and the academy will be too busy." Qin Haodong nodded. Although the exam cost some money, it was still very cost-effective overall. With his current ability, he could at least take the exam for a 5th-grade alchemist medal. It was not that his level of alchemy was not good enough, but it was completely limited by his cultivation. The higher the grade of medicinal pills, the higher the requirements for the use of medicinal pills and internal force. The reason why alchemists were respected was that they were also masters of martial arts while refining high-quality medicinal pills. It was just that in terms of combat ability, they were worse than warriors of the same grade. He left the medicine sales hall and followed the waiter's instructions to the next examination room for alchemists. When he arrived, there were already more than a dozen candidates gathered in front of the door. It seemed that they were all here to take the alchemist medal exam. To his surprise, he met the fatty Zhang Dapeng here. "Brother Qin, you're here." Zhang Dapeng also saw Qin Haodong and greeted him warmly. He looked him up and down, as if to check if he was injured. "Brother, did the little witch embarrass you yesterday?" "No, I'm fine." Qin Haodong smiled and said, Brother Zhang, are you also here to take the alchemist medal exam? Zhang Depeng said, yes, although I'm not practicing martial arts. If I have an alchemist medal, it will be convenient to go anywhere, and I can buy medicinal materials much cheaper. But it's really difficult to take the exam. This is the third time I've come here. If I can't pass this exam, I'll give up. At this time, a sneer came from the side. You guys from the Academy of Martial Arts are all rough people. How can you know alchemy? It's a waste of money to take the exam here. I advise you to go back and save some spirit stones for cultivation. Qin Haodong looked back and saw a second-year student in a black school uniform standing behind them, looking at them with a sneer. Zhang Depeng said, Ma Yan, what's so good about you? Although you're a student of the alchemy department, you haven't taken the exam yet, have you? The student called Ma Yan said, what do you know? I'm working steadily. After a year of study, I'm confident that I can take the exam and get the first-grade alchemist medal. I'm not like you. You've been taking the exam for 3 years without any results. You're a warrior. You should just focus on improving your cultivation. Why do you want to take the alchemist exam? You're biting off more than you can chew. Zhang Depeng was so angry that his face turned red, but he had nothing to say. He had taken the exam for 3 years without any results. Ma Yan looked complacent. Obviously, he didn't feel satisfied after arguing with Zhang Depeng. He turned his head and looked at Qin Haodong. I say, as a new student who has just entered the academy, you should study hard. You've just entered the academy and you want to take the alchemist medal. Don't you know what you're doing? As your senior brother, I can tell you responsibly that the alchemist exam is not for ordinary people. You'd better go back and improve your cultivation. Qin Haodong glanced at him and said lightly, I've been studying at the Black Tortoise Academy for a year, but I'm barely at the middle stage of the nascent soul realm. As a student majoring in the alchemy department, you haven't even gotten a medal. I really don't know where your sense of superiority comes from. If I were you, I would have killed myself. Generally speaking, new students were very respectful to old students, especially newcomers like Qin Haodong who had just entered the academy a few days ago. However, Ma Yan didn't expect that this young man not only didn't take him seriously, but also spoke so harshly, even more ruthlessly than he had with Zhang Depeng. He suddenly blushed and shouted, Boy, what are you talking about? I'm at the middle stage of the nascent soul realm, so what? Are you saying that you're better than me? Seeing that Ma Yan was rebuked, Zhang Depeng felt better than drinking cold beer. He said happily, Let me tell you, Brother Qin's cultivation is really higher than yours. He's the king of newcomers this year. He just entered the academy, but he's already at the late stage of the divine transformation realm. Ma Yan didn't expect that there was such a big gap between their cultivation. A new student could be so powerful, but he still shouted, So what? You're in the martial arts department. It's okay if you're a little bit higher. If you're so good, you can also take the alchemist exam and show me. Don't worry, your wish will come true soon. Qin Haodong turned his head and said to Zhang Depeng, Brother Zhang, do you know how to register for the exam here? Can I directly apply for the 5th grade alchemist exam? Zhang Depeng was shocked. Brother, did I hear that right? You want to take the 5th grade alchemist exam? Qin Haodong said, Yes, I think it's too troublesome to take the test one by one. It's better to take it one step at a time. Hearing the conversation between the two, Ma Yan seemed to immediately find a point of attack. He immediately shouted, Boy, you really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Do you think you're an immortal? Do you think you're Feng Qiong'er? You can get the 6th grade alchemist exam without graduating? Qin Haodong ignored him and said to Zhang Depeng, Brother Zhang, who is Feng Qiong'er? Is she one of the top 10 masters you mentioned yesterday? Zhang Depeng said, Yes, it's her. There are geniuses in this world. You have to admire them. Feng Qiong'er has not only reached the middle stage of the void training realm, but also is the only student in our school who has passed the 5th grade alchemist exam. She is the proudest disciple of President Su Wujin of the Alchemist Union. It's said that she will enter the Alchemist Union as the vice president after graduation. Now she is in charge of the exam for students here. That is to say, she will be the one who will take the exam for us later. Ma Yan also shouted, "Did you hear that? She's a true genius. Compared to senior sister Fang Qiong, you're nothing." Qin Haodong glanced at him with a sneer. "Fang Qiong is your girlfriend?" "Well, Fang Qiong is a girl in our school. How can I be worthy of her? What special relationship does it have with you?" "No, Fang Qiong doesn't know me at all." Qin Haodong sneered and said, "Since she doesn't even know you, what does it have to do with you?" "You. Fang Qiong is my senior. I'm proud of her excellence." Qin Haodong said, "People like you should work hard to improve themselves. Don't always show off a person who has nothing to do with you." Ma Yan blushed and was about to say something when a cold voice came, "This is the examination room. Be quiet." Qin Haodong looked in the direction of the voice and saw a female student in a purple school uniform coming in. The girl was tall and curvy with long hair. She was as beautiful as Zhao Xingyue and Luo Hongying. What was different was that there was a kind of arrogance on her face. Chapter 872. It had to be said that she was indeed an excellent woman. Not only had she reached the middle stage of the void training realm, she was also the most outstanding alchemist student in the Black Tortoise Institute. Her appearance was also enough to make countless men fall for her. Perhaps it was because of her outstanding performance that she was extremely arrogant. However, the students present still gave face to this proud girl. After Fang Qiong appeared, the noisy scene immediately quieted down. "Students who want to register, come here to register." Fang Qiong sat in front of a table and began to register the students who wanted to apply for the alchemist exam. When almost everyone had registered, it was Qin Haodong's turn. He stepped forward and said, "Senior, I want to ask if I can directly apply for the 5th grade alchemist exam." As soon as he said this, the people around him burst into laughter. In their eyes, this guy was obviously here to make trouble. Who is this new guy? Even if he wants to attract senior Fang Qiong's attention, he doesn't have to use such a cheap trick, does he? This guy really doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. He actually wants to apply for the 5th grade alchemist exam in one go. Doesn't he know that senior Fang Qiong is the only 5th grade alchemist in the entire institute? This guy is doomed. He doesn't know senior Fang Qiong's temper. She hates people who bite off more than they can chew. This trick won't work. As expected, in the midst of the discussion, Fang Qiong's arrogant face immediately darkened. She said coldly, "What did you say? Say it again if you have the guts." Qin Haodong said disapprovingly, "Senior, I just think it's too troublesome to take the tests one by one. Can I directly apply for the 5th grade alchemist exam?" With his attainments in alchemy, he was definitely much better than a 5th grade alchemist. If it wasn't for the limitation of his cultivation, he would have directly applied for the 6th grade alchemist exam. In his opinion, it was already very modest to apply for this level. Fang Qiong slammed the table and shouted angrily, "What's the point of people like you? You want to apply for the 5th grade alchemist exam as soon as you come to the institute? What do you think an alchemist is? Are you playing a child's game?" Qin Haodong said innocently, "But I think I'm qualified to be a 5th grade alchemist." Blind arrogance, biting off more than you can chew. This was the first time Fang Qiong had met a student like this. "Get out of here. This is the Alchemist Union. You are not welcome here." Qin Haodong said helplessly, "Senior sister, it's fine if you don't want me to take the exam directly. I'll take the exam one by one, okay? Sign me up for the exam as a 1st grade alchemist first." Fang Qiong snorted. However, he was a student of the college and met the requirements, so she could not refuse him. She glared at him and then wrote Qin Haodong's name on the form angrily. After the registration was complete, the examination began. According to the Academy's regulations, the first segment was a written test. Fang Xiong'er arranged for everyone to sit down and then handed out the papers one by one. She sat at the front and looked down coldly to prevent any students from cheating. The difficulty of the alchemist exam was well known. In the entire academy, only a small number of people could obtain the alchemist qualification every year. Even the students of the alchemist specialization could not guarantee that all of them could pass the exam. Therefore, after the exam began, sighs could be heard continuously in the examination hall. Most people felt that this exam question was too difficult. Qin Haodong glanced at the exam paper and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. These questions were simply child's play to him, so he did not take them seriously at all. He picked up the pen and scribbled furiously on the paper. After about 20 minutes, he handed the paper to Fang Xiong'er. "Senior sister, I finished." "What? Did he finish answering so quickly? Did this guy hand in a blank paper? This guy doesn't know anything about alchemists at all. He came here to flirt with senior sister Fang Xiong'er, such a difficult paper. I haven't even finished one question, but he handed it in. It's obvious that he is playing to the gallery. He must have scribbled." Fang Xiong'er's face became more and more gloomy. She stared at Qin Haodong and said, "Are you sure you answered the paper seriously?" Qin Haodong smiled indifferently and said, "It's such a simple paper. There's no need to be serious. I can answer it easily." "Senior sister, do you think I can answer the second-grade alchemist's paper again?" "How arrogant. I'll mark the paper for you now and see how many points you can get." The more Fang Xiong'er looked at Qin Haodong, the more she disliked him. It was obvious that this guy was here to make trouble. She had to slap him in the face now. "Well, thank you for your hard work, senior sister." Fang Xiong'er was responsible for the whole exam. Qin Haodong did not say much and returned to his seat to wait for the score. Fang Xiong'er took Qin Haodong's paper and began to read it. The first question asked students to write a prescription for a patient who was injured by taking oral medicine. This question was completely free for students who took the exam for alchemists. In the Lingwu continent, anyone with a little medical knowledge would know that this kind of disease required the use of the golden jade detachment pill. However, she saw that Qin Haodong had written a completely different method on the answer sheet, which had nothing to do with the golden jade detachment pill. He is indeed a guy playing to the gallery. He doesn't even know the basic medical knowledge. Seeing this, Fang Xiong'er became angrier and angrier. She did not even bother to read the next question. She directly took the red pen beside her, made a big cross on Qin Haodong's paper, and wrote a vigorous 0 on it. "Well, this is your score. You can take it and leave." Fang Xiong'er intended to humiliate Qin Haodong, so she directly lifted his paper to show it to the other candidates. When they saw the big 0 written on the paper, everyone roared with laughter. Ma Yan shouted, "I told you that the newcomer king is just a little bit higher in cultivation. He is nothing in our college of alchemists. This guy is really a weirdo. I have been in the college of alchemists for so many years, but I have never heard of anyone scoring 0. This is so funny. If I were him, I would just pee and drown myself in it. This is so embarrassing." Amidst the laughter, Qin Haodong's face also became cold. It was okay for this woman to be a little arrogant, and it had nothing to do with him. However, she could not just randomly give him a 0 on the paper. This was simply nonsense. He stepped in front of Fang Xiong'er and said, "Senior sister, do you know that the person in charge of the examination of the Alchemist Union is responsible for his own behavior and also for everyone's exam results?" Fang Xiong'er sneered and said, "I am already very responsible. A person like you only deserves a 0 on this paper." Qin Haodong took the paper, scribbled down his address on the back, and then handed it to Fang Xiong'er. "This is my dormitory number. I will go back and wait for you. I hope you can apologize to me as soon as possible." "Apologize to you? Am I dreaming? How could I apologize to you?" Fang Xiong'er sneered. She was the only 5th-grade alchemist student in the Black Tortoise College. How could she apologize to a bad student? In her opinion, this kind of saying was simply childish to the extreme and extremely laughable. Qin Haodong said, "If your alchemist union knows its mistake and doesn't change, then I have no interest in joining it." After saying that, he turned around and left the examination room, leaving a dozen students who were dumbfounded. Most of them were old students who had been in the Black Tortoise College for a long time. For so many years, they had never seen such an arrogant new student who dared to treat Fang Qiong'er like this. Fang Qiong'er had always been proud and arrogant. She had never been treated like this before. Suddenly, she felt that her lungs were about to explode. She grabbed the paper left by Qin Haodong, rolled it into a ball, and fiercely threw it in the direction of the door. Just then, an old man in a long robe appeared in front of the door and reached out to grab the paper in his hand. "Qiong'er, why are you so angry?" The old man was Fang Qiong'er's teacher, the president of the branch of the Alchemist Union, Su Wuwei. Fang Qiong'er said angrily, "Teacher, an arrogant guy just came. He almost pissed me off. He said that he wanted to apply for the 5th grade alchemist exam, but I didn't agree. I asked him to answer the 1st grade alchemist exam, but he got a 0 and said that I would go to him and apologize. I have never seen such an arrogant guy. Is that so? How bad is the student to get a 0? Driven by curiosity, Su Wuwei opened the paper in his hand and began to read. Fang Qiong'er was not done venting her anger. She continued, "Look at this guy." The first question was obviously a free-point question. He only needed to answer the recipe of the gold and jade detachment elixir. However, he messed it up and came up with a bunch of strange things. While she was talking, she did not notice that Su Wuwei's expression became more and more serious. At last, he shouted excitedly. "Wonderful, it's really wonderful. Good prescription, really good, it's simply divine." Fang Qiong'er was startled and asked in surprise, "Teacher, are you all right?" Su Wuwei was so excited that his beard jumped up. He pointed to the paper in his hand and said, "This person is absolutely divine. His prescription is too wonderful for words." Fang Qiong'er felt even more depressed. She asked in confusion, "Teacher, what are you talking about?" Su Wuwei said, "Recently, I have been studying the prescription of the gold and jade detachment pill. For hundreds of years, we have been using it to treat internal injuries caused by damaged meridians, and the effect is also good. But this prescription has a big drawback, which is that it is extremely painful when taking the medicine. The injured will be tortured by pain from the moment they take the medicine until they recover. I have always wanted to improve this prescription to reduce the pain of the injured, but I have never been able to do it. But this student has done it. His prescription can not only achieve the goal of curing the injury, but also help to relieve the pain of the injured. It is really a priceless prescription. This, how is it possible?" Fang Qiong'er said, "Teacher, did you make a mistake? That person is just a new student this year. Even you can't do it. How could he do it? I have studied this prescription for a long time, so it should not be wrong. But just in case, I will now refine it into an elixir to test it. There happens to be an injured patient in our alchemists' union." After saying that, Su Wuwei hurried into the alchemy room next to him with the paper in his hand and began to refine the elixir according to Qin Haodong's prescription. Fang Qiong'er sat in the chair again, but her expression became extremely complicated. Could it be that she had misjudged the paper? With her ability, she couldn't see the brilliance of the other party. She couldn't even imagine the result. She had always thought that she was the best. She was the chosen one and no one could be better than her. About an hour later, it was time for the exam. In the examination room, the candidates handed in their papers one after another. At this time, Su Wuwei ran in from outside with a bottle of elixir and said, "Qiong'er, you really misunderstood him. The elixir refined according to this prescription not only has no side effects, but the effect is doubled." The injured person who took the elixir immediately recovered by half. Chapter 873. Fang Qiong'er was stunned. What she had been most worried about had happened. She was really wrong. Su Wujin took out Qin Haodong's paper and said, "Chionger, I've just read this paper. Not only did the first question contain such a good recipe, but the rest of the questions also have their own opinions. This isn't a paper with 0 marks, it's a paper with 100 marks or even higher marks." As soon as he said this, everyone present was dumbfounded. Who was Su Wujin? He was the president of the Black Tortoise Academy and a 7th grade alchemist. He had always had a high standard. No one had ever seen him praise someone like this. Fang Chionger's lips moved a few times, but she didn't say a word in the end. "Chionger, it's our fault. This student named Qin Haodong is definitely a genius. We can't miss such a talent. I'll go and invite him back now." Su Wujin was about to walk out of the examination room when Fang Chionger called, "Teacher, wait a minute." "What's wrong, Chionger?" "What else?" Su Wujin turned around and asked. "Teacher, since it's my fault, let me correct it. I'll invite Qin Haodong back and apologize to him in person." It was very difficult for Fang Chionger to say these words. Although she was arrogant, she was not a person who refused to admit her mistake. Since it was her fault, she would be brave to bear it. Su Wujin nodded with satisfaction. His disciple was very good to be able to correct her mistake. He said, "Very well, I'll let you go. It's our fault. Besides apologizing, tell Qin Haodong that the Alchemist Union will waive all the exam fees for him. Although it's not a lot, it's our apology." "Got it, teacher." Fang Chionger answered and rushed to the dormitory according to the address Qin Haodong left. Seeing that she was gone, Ma Yan said to Su Wujin, "President Su, what about our papers?" According to the usual practice, Fang Chionger would immediately mark the papers and announce everyone's results on the spot. But now that Fang Chionger was gone, what should they do? Su Wujin said, "If there's nothing urgent, you can wait here. If there's something urgent, go back first. I'll ask someone to inform you later." All the candidates nodded. No one left but waited for Fang Chionger and Qin Haodong to come back. When Qin Haodong returned to the dormitory, the little witch and Zhao Xingyue had gone to class, leaving him alone at home. He pulled a chair and sat in the courtyard, looking up at the distant horizon. At this moment, thoughts of his family filled his mind. It had been 2 days since he arrived at the Lingwu continent. His family must be very worried when they found out that he was missing. He wondered how the little guy was doing and if he missed his father. He didn't know how his women were doing. Would they be especially sad? Just like that, he stared at the sky in a daze. After who knew how long, there was a knock on the door. Fang Chionger came to Qin Haodong's dormitory and saw him sitting alone in the yard through the fence. His eyes were deep and sad, as if he had seen all the vicissitudes of life. After so many years, she had never seen such a sorrowful look in his eyes. She couldn't help but think, he doesn't look that old. What exactly did he experience? After a while, she saw that Qin Haodong was still in a daze and didn't notice her arrival, so she still knocked on the door. Qin Haodong came to his senses and opened the door. When he saw Fang Chionger, he said, "You're here. Let's start." Fang Chionger asked in surprise, "What start?" Qin Haodong said playfully, "Didn't you come to apologize to me? Let's start now. If your apology is sincere, I will forgive you." "You?" Fang Chionger was so angry that her eyes widened, but she was the one to blame. Finally, she gritted her teeth and said, "I'm sorry. I was too arbitrary in today's exam. I misunderstood you. I apologize." "Not bad. You're very sincere." Qin Haodong nodded and then said, "What else?" "I've already apologized. What else do you want?" Fang Chionger said angrily. As far as she could remember, this was the first time she had apologized to someone. She didn't expect that this guy was still not satisfied. Qin Haodong said with a smile, "Your apology is not bad. It's very sincere. But don't you have any material compensation?" You, looking at the mocking gaze of the person in front of her, Fang Qiong'er said hatefully. My teacher said that the fault lies with the Alchemist Guild. As compensation, you will be exempted from all future examination fees. That's not bad. Let's go. I'll go back with you. Qin Haodong nodded with satisfaction. His goal today was to get the 5th grade alchemist medal, which meant that he could save 50 top-grade spirit stones, which was a lot of money. Fang Qiong'er snorted and turned around to lead the way. They went back to the Alchemist Union. When Su Wujin saw Fang Qiong'er bringing back a handsome young man, he knew that he must be Qin Haodong. He stepped forward and said, "Young man, I'm Su Wujin of the Alchemist Union. We made a mistake just now and misjudged your score. Now I apologize to you." Qin Haodong said, "It's okay. My senior sister has just apologized to me. Everyone makes mistakes. A good comrade should correct their mistakes." Hearing this, Fang Qiong'er was so angry that she glared at Qin Haodong. What's so great about him? She had just figured out that Qin Haodong must have gotten that prescription from somewhere and answered the exam correctly. He was definitely not as good as her in terms of alchemy. Everyone makes mistakes. That's a good saying. Su Wujin said, "Little Qin, I just read your paper. Your ideas are unique and you are quite accomplished in alchemy. May I ask who your teacher is?" He had the same idea as Fang Qiong'er. He thought that Qin Haodong must have a great teacher who happened to get that prescription. As long as you can successfully make a furnace of 5th grade elixirs, even if the quality is not as good as Qiong'er's, you will pass the exam. In his opinion, Qin Haodong's alchemy level was definitely not as good as his disciple, so he relaxed the standard a little. Qin Haodong said indifferently, "Any elixir?" Su Wujin said, "As long as it's a 5th grade elixir, you can choose whatever you want." Fang Qiong'er held her head high and said, "I'll make whatever elixir you make, so that you won't say that I bullied you when I lose." Qin Haodong smiled slightly and said, "Then I'll choose the fortune elixir." Among the 5th grade elixirs, the fortune elixir was one of the best. It was usually very difficult to make, and once it was made, the price would be relatively high. That was why he chose the fortune elixir. After hearing his words, Su Wujin and the others all changed their expressions. They had thought that he would choose a 5th grade elixir that was extremely difficult to make. After all, passing the exam was the most important thing. They didn't expect that this young man would choose such a difficult elixir. A contemptuous smile flashed across Fang Qiong'er's face. In her opinion, Qin Haodong must want to choose the most difficult elixir, so that neither of them could make it. Even if they lost in the end, they could at least save some face. However, with her ability, even if it was a little difficult to make the fortune elixir, she could still make it if she tried her best. Seeing that neither of them had any objections, Su Wujin said, "Well, you can make the fortune elixir together." "Wait a minute." Qin Haodong stopped Su Wujin. Fang Qiong'er sneered and said, "What? Do you regret it? Do you want to change to an easier elixir?" No. I just want to ask, what about the herbs for the competition?" Su Wujin smiled slightly and said, "I've said that your exam fee is free, so the Pharmaceutical Pharmacist Union will naturally pay for the herbs." "Then I'm relieved." Qin Haodong asked again, "What about the elixir? Does it belong to me or the Pharmaceutical Pharmacist Union?" Chapter 874. Su Wujin said, "Don't worry, young man. These elixirs are yours, but the Alchemist Union will buy them back at a high price. We'll give you a satisfactory price." Qin Haodong immediately said with satisfaction, That's good. Fang Qiong'er snorted, "Greedy bastard." Qin Haodong didn't care about the title. What he needed most now was money. It was hard to make a living in this college without money. The three of them went to a huge alchemy room in the Alchemist Union. Someone had already prepared all the herbs needed for alchemy. With Su Wujin's approval, a dozen other people also came in to cheer for their goddess. They wanted to see how badly Qin Haodong would lose. Qin Haodong chose a place. With a thought, the Shinong cauldron suddenly appeared in the alchemy room. Su Wujin's eyes suddenly lit up when he saw the simple and elegant Shinong cauldron. He had been an alchemist for so many years, but he had never seen such a good cauldron. He looked at the Shinong cauldron a few times and couldn't help praising, "Good cauldron, this is definitely a good cauldron." Fang Qiong'er snorted, "What's the use of a good cauldron if you're not good enough?" Qin Haodong smiled slightly. This woman was really arrogant. Since she was so arrogant, let me conquer her. He stretched out his index finger and flicked it gently. A dazzling alchemy fire entered the Shinong cauldron and then turned into a raging fire. The alchemy officially began. Fang Qiong'er held back her anger. She shook her wrist gently and a huge cauldron appeared in the alchemy room. Then she lit the fire, heated the cauldron, and put the elixirs in. Everything was done in one go, showing her solid alchemy skills. Although she was arrogant, she also knew that the nature elixir was not that easy to make, so she looked serious and focused on doing all she could. Zhang Depeng said, "Who do you think will win this competition?" Ma Yan said, "Of course. Is there any suspense?" "Senior sister Fang Qiong'er will definitely win. It's impossible for that sensationalist guy to make a 5th grade elixir." The others all echoed and stood on Fang Qiong'er's side. Zhang Depeng said, "I always feel that Brother Qin is not simple. Maybe he can't beat senior sister Fang Qiong'er, but he can also make a 5th grade elixir." Ma Yan immediately said disdainfully, "You've taken the exam 3 times, and you've failed to get a 1st grade alchemist medal. How can a newbie like him refine a 5th grade pill? Are you thinking with your feet?" Zhang Depeng shook his head and did not refute. Rationally, he did not think that Qin Haodong could succeed, but in his heart, he felt that this person was not ordinary. Qin Haodong was not affected by the others at all. Although he did not have the help of the little fellow's innate fire, he was a little weaker in terms of fire. However, his skill in alchemy was extremely high, and he was very familiar with the pill of fortune. The medicinal ingredients flew into the Shinong cauldron one by one, and soon turned into a rich medicinal liquid. Every process was done smoothly, and the speed was so fast that it was astounding. Su Wujin was inwardly shocked. This young man's technique was fast, but every step was just right. It could be seen that his attainments in alchemy were profound. Even if it was him, he wouldn't be able to achieve such a level. Could it be that he could really refine a 5th grade pill, the pill of good fortune? What is this guy doing? Isn't his speed a little too fast? Ma Yan said disdainfully, "What's the use of being fast? Alchemy is not a race. I think his cauldron will explode soon." "I think so too. Look at senior sister Fang Qiong. She is steady and steady. What Qin Haodong is doing is alchemy." They were all amateurs, and no matter what, they only had faith in Fang Qiong'er. Fang Qiong'er stole a glance at Qin Haodong, and she could not help but feel a little surprised. This guy was calm, and his movements were very skillful. He did not look like a newcomer at all. It seemed that she had to speed up. Otherwise, even if she could refine all the pills, she would still lose to him in speed, which would be embarrassing. She did not realize that she had subconsciously agreed that Qin Haodong could refine the pill of good fortune. Qin Haodong's speed was getting faster and faster, and he showed no signs of slowing down. About 20 minutes later, a strong smell of medicine filled the alchemy room. Qin Haodong had finished refining the pills. He extinguished the fire and put away the pills. 9 fiery red pill of good fortune appeared in the jade bottle in his hand. There were 3 dazzling golden lines on the surface of each pill. Qin Haodong shook his head slightly. It seemed that without the little fellow's innate fire, he was still a little short of making 12 pills. What's going on? This guy really made the pills. Isn't it a little too fast? How come the cauldron didn't explode when he was so fast? I don't think it's right. I have seen many alchemy masters, but none of them were this fast. I guess the pills this guy made are not something special, but they are definitely not the pill of good fortune. Everyone was shocked by Qin Haodong's speed, and they all looked at the jade bottle in his hand. Su Wujin was a 7th grade alchemist, and everyone could tell from the smell that it was the pill of good fortune. He walked over and took the jade bottle in Qin Haodong's hand. His expression suddenly changed. Not only were the 9 pills of good fortune extremely smooth, but there were also 3 golden lines on them. Even with his level as a 7th grade alchemist, he couldn't create lines every time he made an alchemy pill. Even if there were lines, it would only be 1 line. However, this young man had made an elixir with 3 lines, which showed how high his attainments were. Seeing Su Wujin's expression, the others immediately gathered around. Ma Yan asked, "President Su, what did he make? Is it really the pill of good fortune?" Su Wujin said excitedly, "Not only did little Qin make the pill of good fortune, but it also has 3 lines. Generally speaking, a pill with 1 line is already a high-grade elixir, but he actually has 3 lines. This level of attainment is something even I can't compare to." Hearing Su Wujin's words, everyone present was shocked. Just now, they had guessed that it was impossible for Qin Haodong to succeed, but in the end, he actually made an elixir with 3 lines. Even the president felt that he couldn't compare to him. What kind of attainment in alchemy did he need? Especially Ma Yan, he felt his face burning. As a second-year student, a student majoring in alchemy, he hadn't obtained an alchemist medal after so long. In the end, Qin Haodong was a 5th-grade alchemist. The gap between them was a little too big. Fortunately, Qin Haodong didn't take him seriously at all and didn't make any sarcastic remarks. Fang Qiong, who was next to him, clearly saw everyone's surprise and exclamation. Not only was Qin Haodong fast in alchemy, but the quality was also very high. She had never made an elixir with 3 lines before, which meant that she had lost this alchemy test. What's going on? As a 5th-grade alchemist, how could I lose to a newcomer? While she was distracted, she forgot that the biggest taboo for an alchemist was to be distracted. When she came back to her senses, she found that she didn't put in the medicine at the scheduled time. She was late by half a breath. The reason why it was difficult to become an alchemist was that every step of alchemy had to be done step by step, neither too early nor too late. If there were any mistakes, the alchemy would fail and the cauldron would explode. That was exactly what was happening to Fang Qiong at the moment. Because she was distracted just now, the power in the cauldron was boiling, as if it had been ignited by something. The huge cauldron kept shaking and making strange noises. "Oh no, the cauldron is going to explode!" someone shouted. Everyone's expression changed. An exploding cauldron was a nightmare for alchemists. Especially when Fang Qiong was making a 5th-grade elixir. The higher the level of the elixir, the more powerful the explosion. If the cauldron really exploded, none of them would survive. Su Wujin, of course, knew the seriousness of an exploding cauldron. He immediately shouted with a serious expression, "You guys leave now. I'll handle this." Zhang Dapeng, Ma Yan, and the others didn't dare to hesitate. They immediately left the alchemy room as fast as they could. At this time, everyone could leave except for Fang Qiong. Once she lost control of the cauldron, it would explode immediately. There was no way for her to escape. Looking at the shaking cauldron, Su Wujin was anxious, but there was nothing he could do. Just then, he saw Qin Haodong next to him and immediately shouted, "Why are you still here? President Su, you leave here first. I'll handle this." After saying that, Qin Haodong strode behind Fang Qiong. "Nonsense. You're making trouble. Come back here now," Su Wujin shouted. As a 7th-grade alchemist, he couldn't handle the current situation, let alone Qin Haodong, who had just entered the academy. If there was a master at the Mahayana stage here, he could use his own strength and control of the elixir to suppress the power of the cauldron. But with their current cultivation, none of them could do it. At this time, Fang Qiong's face was pale. She was no longer as arrogant as before. She tried her best to control the cauldron in front of her, but the cauldron on the verge of exploding was obviously beyond her control. Just then, a firm voice sounded in her ear. From now on, listen to my instructions. Don't panic, and don't retreat. Just now, Fang Qiong had the intention to retreat, but she couldn't retreat now. Once she did, the cauldron would explode immediately. Her face was pale and she didn't know what to say. What? Are you afraid? Aren't you proud? As an alchemist, are you afraid of an exploding cauldron? Who said I'm afraid? Qin Haodong's words immediately ignited Fang Qiong's fighting spirit. She was a proud woman. She would rather be blown to death here than lose her dignity. Qin Haodong knew that his provocation had worked and calmed Fang Qiong down. He immediately continued, throw the rest of the violet sun leaves and 1,000 vines into the cauldron now. Will it work? Fang Qiong was shocked. The cauldron was already on the verge of exploding. If she added these 2 young attribute herbs, wouldn't it explode even more thoroughly? After studying alchemy for so long, she had never seen alchemy like this. Based on the current situation, even if the cauldron exploded, with her own cultivation, she would at most be seriously injured and still have a chance of survival. If she threw the rest of the elixir into the cauldron, the huge explosion would be too much for her to handle. Is this guy teaching me alchemy, or is he messing with me? Is he taking revenge on me for giving him 0 points just now? Hurry up, do you dare or not? Qin Haodong shouted anxiously. Why wouldn't I dare? At most, we'll all die together. Hearing Qin Haodong's scolding, Fang Qiong was immediately enraged. She gritted her teeth and threw the 2 elixir that Qin Haodong had mentioned into the cauldron. As expected, after the rest of the elixir was thrown into the cauldron, the flames in the cauldron burned even more fiercely. The cauldron that was on the verge of collapse shook even more violently. Su Wujin was dumbfounded. What is this guy doing? Isn't this the legendary pouring oil on the fire? At this moment, the cauldron in front of him was obviously unable to withstand the heat anymore. Cracks appeared on the walls of the cauldron. Chapter 875. Qin Haodong didn't seem to notice what was happening in front of him. He continued, add 7-star grass, green toad flower. Fang Qiong had no choice but to follow Qin Haodong's instructions. She put the 2 herbs into the alchemy furnace without hesitation. She had no more herbs in her hands. The alchemy furnace boiled even more fiercely when the herbs were put into the furnace. Waves of heat twisted the air. Su Wujin's heart was in his throat. He was trying to think of a way to minimize the current loss. But at this moment, he heard Qin Haodong shout, increase the fire. Holy sh*t, is he a lunatic? Su Wujin wanted to rush over and cover Qin Haodong's mouth. How could he increase the fire at this time? Was he afraid that the alchemy furnace wouldn't be able to kill them? Increase the fire? Fang Qiong frowned. The alchemy furnace couldn't take it anymore. If she increased the fire, it would explode immediately. But after a moment of hesitation, she made up her mind. If the sky fell down, everyone would die together. She couldn't let this guy look down on her. Thinking of this, she immediately increased the fire in the alchemy furnace according to Qin Haodong's instructions. With the surge of genuine qi, the fire in the alchemy furnace suddenly doubled. The scorching fire covered the entire alchemy furnace. Kacha! 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 Fang Qiong's alchemy furnace was just an ordinary one, not a divine artifact like the Shenong tripod. It was at the last moment of collapse. The cracks on the alchemy furnace suddenly increased and the sound of cracking could be heard. Su Wujin's heart suddenly sank. It was really going to explode. With a loud bang, the alchemy furnace exploded. The broken pieces of the alchemy furnace shot out in all directions. Fang Qiong, who was pouring in the alchemy fire, didn't expect the explosion to happen so suddenly. She had no time to react and could only close her eyes. I'm doomed. This guy is really going to kill me. Just when she thought that she was definitely going to die, she was surprised to find that the explosion was not as intense as she had imagined, even though she had felt the heat wave and the impact of the pill furnace fragments. Although she also felt the impact of the heat wave and the broken pieces of the alchemy furnace, it was nothing like the explosion of a fifth-grade alchemy furnace. What's going on? When she opened her eyes again, she found Qin Haodong standing in front of her, holding a jade bottle in his hand. He put the 9 nature pills that flew out of the furnace into the bottle. Although there's only 1 pill mark, it's still not bad. At least I didn't waste these medicinal ingredients. What? The explosion of the cauldron actually produced pills? And the kind with pill marks? Fang Qiong'er sat there in a daze, unable to believe what she had just seen. She even forgot to wipe the soot off her face. What was going on? Not only did it reduce the power of the cauldron explosion, it could also be used to refine pills. If this was said by someone else, she would not believe it even if they beat her to death. But now, the truth was right before her eyes. At this moment, Su Wujin walked over and asked Qiong'er with concern, "Are you all right?" "I'm fine." Fang Qiong'er came to her senses and jumped up from the ground. She grabbed Qin Haodong's arm tightly and cried, "How did you do it?" Seeing that the student was fine, Su Wujin was relieved. Then, he asked curiously, "Yes, little Qin, how did you do it?" "It's a miracle." Qin Haodong smiled slightly and said, "It's just a small trick." The reason why the cauldron exploded was that the energy in the pills was out of control. If the energy could be channeled into the pills, the power of the cauldron explosion would naturally be much smaller, and the pills would not be damaged at the same time. Su Wujin and Fang Qiong'er were stunned. They were both alchemists, so they knew how dangerous it was. Theoretically speaking, it was reasonable, but when it came to the actual operation, it was extremely dangerous. One careless move and they would be smashed to pieces. After a moment of silence, Fang Qiong'er suddenly said, "Junior, I want to worship you as my master and learn alchemy from you." Su Wujin was startled. He knew Fang Qiong'er's character very well. She was extremely arrogant and never took anyone seriously except herself. But now she wanted to worship this young man in front of him as her master, which showed that she had been completely convinced. His relationship with Fang Qiong'er was that of a teacher and a student, and it was more limited to the academy. In the traditional sense, they were not teacher and student. If Fang Qiong'er left Black Tortoise Academy, they would not have much contact. But it would be different if she became Qin Haodong's disciple. The traditional master-disciple relationship would be maintained for a lifetime. Qin Haodong was also a little surprised. Although the little girl in front of him was arrogant, she was completely convinced once she lowered her head. He said, "Senior Fang Qiong'er, you said I'm your junior. How can I be your master?" Fang Qiong'er said with a sincere face, "It doesn't matter. I think your alchemy skills are good enough to be my master." Qin Haodong waved his hand and said, No, I'm still a student. I have no intention of taking a disciple. If you want, we can practice more in the future." Well, Fang Qiong'er still wanted to say something, but Qin Haodong didn't give her the chance. He put the pills he had just put away from the cauldron into her hand and said to Su Wujin, "President Su, did I pass the test just now?" "Little Qin, your performance was perfect. From now on, you are a 5th-grade alchemist in our alchemist union. This is your medal." Su Wujin was completely convinced by Qin Haodong's performance. He immediately took out a 5th-grade alchemist medal from his storage ring and gave it to Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong took the medal and took out the creation elixirs he had refined. "President Su, didn't you say you wanted to buy the elixirs I refined? Do you want to pay for them?" "No problem. Your creation elixirs are all 3rd-grade elixirs with patterns. I'll buy them at the price of 400 top-grade spirit stones each. Here are 3,600 top-grade spirit stones. Take them." Mr. Su took out 3,600 spirit stones from his storage ring, put them into a small cloth bag, and gave it to Qin Haodong. At this time, Fang Qiong'er said, "President, if it weren't for Qin Haodong's help, not only would I be seriously injured, but I wouldn't be able to take back the 9 creation elixirs. So these elixirs should be his. After that, she also gave the 9 creation elixirs that Qin Haodong had just given to Su Wujin. Su Wujin took the elixirs and said, "First-grade creation elixirs with patterns are a little worse. I'll buy them at 300 top-grade spirit stones each." He took out 2,700 top-grade spirit stones and gave them to Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong was overjoyed. This time, he had not only obtained a 5th-grade alchemist medal, but also more than 6,000 top-grade spirit stones, which made him feel like he had become rich overnight. "President Su, do you have a quiet room for me to use? I just had an epiphany when I was refining elixirs, and I want to make a breakthrough." "Of course, this is the quiet room I use for daily practice. Since little Qin wants to use it, I'll lend it to you." Su Wujin took him to a quiet room next door, and then he and Feng Qiong'er went out of the room and closed the door. Qin Haodong set up a restriction in the room, took out all 6,300 top-grade spirit stones from his storage ring, and piled them in front of him. The quiet room was suddenly filled with rich spiritual qi. He sat cross-legged and rotated his nascent soul. The rich spiritual qi suddenly rushed into his body like 100 rivers flowing into the sea, and his cultivation quickly improved. As a master at the crossing calamity stage in his previous life, Qin Haodong did not have any inner demons or obstacles in the process of cultivation. As long as there was enough spiritual qi, he could improve his cultivation to a high enough level. In a short time, he had broken through the bottleneck of the soul formation stage and reached the early stage of the void training stage. He did not stop there, but continued to absorb the spiritual qi in the air. About 10 minutes later, there was another cracking sound in his body, and he reached the middle stage of the void training stage. Qin Haodong slowly opened his eyes. He had completed 2 breakthroughs in a row and consumed a lot of spiritual qi. He wanted to see if these top-grade spirit stones were enough for him to continue. But when he looked at them, he was shocked. The 6,300 top-grade spirit stones that were piled up just now were almost used up, and only a few hundred were left. He counted them and found that there were less than 300 top-grade spirit stones in total. He could not help but shake his head with a wry smile. He knew that this kind of cultivation consumed a lot of spirit stones, but he did not expect it to be to this extent. He was a rich man just now, but in the blink of an eye, he became a poor man again. These spirit stones could not be used anymore. He had to use them to buy medicinal materials to refine elixirs, and then exchange them for more spirit stones. He had just reached the middle stage of the void training stage, and he had used up 6,000 top-grade spirit stones. If he wanted to go further, he did not know how much more he would need. He had to prepare at least 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. Outside the room, Su Wujin asked Feng Qiong'er, "What happened when you were making elixirs? Why did the furnace suddenly explode?" Feng Qiong'er lowered her head and said embarrassedly, "Master, I was too competitive. When I saw that Qin Haodong had made the fortune elixir in advance, my mind was disturbed, so the furnace exploded." Su Wujin said, "Qiong'er, you are very talented, but your only shortcoming is that you are too arrogant. I have told you that there is always someone better than you. Have you seen it today?" "Yes. Master, I know I was wrong. Although Qin Haodong is younger than me, his attainments in alchemy are definitely much higher than mine. I will learn more from him in the future." Su Wujin nodded. "Qiong'er, little Qin was the one who personally taught you how to resolve the crisis. Can you tell me how he managed to pull the chestnuts out of the fire when the furnace was on the verge of exploding and successfully refined 9 nature pills?" "Master, I haven't fully understood it yet, so I can only tell you the process of the operation." The master and the apprentice stood outside the classroom and began to discuss the method that Qin Haodong had mentioned. It was easier said than done. The more they discussed, the more they felt that this operation was incredible. It was not something that ordinary people could do. Just as the two of them were having a heated discussion, the door of the quiet room opened and Qin Haodong walked out. "Qin Haodong, have you finished your cultivation so soon?" Su Wujin was a little surprised. Generally speaking, it would take at least a few hours to make a breakthrough. Qin Haodong had only gone in for half an hour. Did he fail? Qin Haodong said, President, I have reached the void training stage. Can you let me take the test of a 6th grade alchemist? Qin Haodong deliberately said that he had reached the void training stage, but he didn't say that he had reached the middle stage of the void training stage. Otherwise, it would be hard to accept that he had broken through 2 levels in such a short time. What? You have made a breakthrough so soon. Even so, Su Wujin and Fang Qiong were still shocked. They looked at Qin Haodong as if he was a monster. When did breaking through the bottleneck become so easy? Qin Haodong said again, President Su, can you let me take the test of a 6th grade alchemist? Su Wujin had just said that all the tests today were free, including the use of medicinal materials. Chapter 876. Now that he was a poor man, he had to seize the opportunity to become a 7th grade alchemist. Not only would he be able to save money, but he would also be able to earn some spirit stones by refining elixirs. Well, I can, but don't you think you're in too much of a hurry? Su Wujin said, Little Qin, the level of alchemy is closely related to your cultivation, but it doesn't mean that your alchemy skills will improve as your cultivation increases. Although you've entered the void training stage, you still need to practice for a while before you can refine 6th grade elixirs. Fang Qiong stood next to him and didn't say anything. She agreed with Su Wujin's words very much, but the young man in front of her was too monstrous. He had exceeded her expectations again and again. Maybe he could really refine 6th grade elixirs. Qin Haodong said, President Su, please give me a chance to try. The alchemy skills that I've learned with my master are a bit special. As long as I have the cultivation, I can refine the corresponding elixirs. Helplessly, he could only bring up his imaginary teacher again. Well, what kind of elixir do you want to refine? Su Wujin hesitated for a moment and then agreed. I want to refine a void-breaking pill. What? You want to refine a void-breaking pill? Although he was shocked by the miracle brought by Qin Haodong today, Su Wujin was still shocked. Little Qin, you have to think about it carefully. This void-breaking pill is the pinnacle of 6th grade elixirs. Even I can't guarantee that I can refine it every time. You've just broken through to the void training stage. Why don't you choose some easier elixirs for the test? That way, you'll have a higher chance of passing. Qin Haodong knew the void-breaking pill very well, and he also knew its status among the 6th grade elixirs. Each void-breaking pill could help a cultivator in the void training stage advance by a small level, so it was naturally expensive. He said, President Su, I want to refine this kind of elixir. You promised me that all the test fees would be free. Are you feeling distressed now? From the bottom of his heart, Su Wujin was indeed distressed. The materials needed to refine the void-breaking pill were extremely expensive. Moreover, this was only a branch of the Alchemist Guild, so he didn't have many medicinal materials stored. It was also for this reason that there were very few void-breaking pills in the entire Black Tortoise Academy. However, since he had agreed, he couldn't go back on his word. He could only grit his teeth and say, All right then, Little Qin, I can provide you with the materials for alchemy. However, these materials are extremely precious, so I can only give you 1 set. Thank you, President Su. 1 is enough. With Qin Haodong's attainments in alchemy, it was not too difficult for him to refine a 6th grade elixir. It was impossible for him to fail. The 3 of them returned to the alchemy room. Su Wujin arranged for someone to prepare a set of materials for the void-breaking pill. Then, Qin Haodong began to refine the pill again. One by one, Qin Haodong soaked the herbs into the Medicine King Hall. Su Wujin and Fang Qiong stood quietly behind him and watched. The more they watched, the more astonished they became. Although he was refining a 6th grade elixir, Qin Haodong's alchemy technique was still orderly and smooth, and his speed was no slower than refining elixirs. Judging from his alchemy technique, there was no rudeness at all. No one would have thought that he was a student who had just advanced to the void training realm. About half an hour later, a burst of pill fragrance wafted out. Qin Haodong raised the jade bottle in his hand and caught 6 void-breaking pills that flew out of the furnace. Looking at the elixir in the jade bottle, he couldn't help but shake his head slightly. The higher the grade of the elixir, the higher the requirement for the flame. This furnace only produced 6 elixirs, and only 1 elixir pattern. While he was feeling dissatisfied, Su Wujin and Feng Qiong were extremely shocked. As alchemists, they knew very well how difficult it was to refine this kind of 6th-grade elixir. Even Su Wujin, a 6th-grade alchemist, couldn't guarantee success every time. Even if he succeeded, it was the kind without elixir pattern. But Qin Haodong had easily refined it, and it was a high-quality elixir with elixir pattern. After holding the jade bottle in his hand, Su Wujin exclaimed, "Little Qin, I'll take all these elixirs. Each one is 1,000 top-grade spirit stones." Although he was short of money now, Qin Haodong hesitated for a moment and said, "President Su, I'll keep 3 of these elixirs and sell the other 3 to the Alchemist Union." "That's fine. This kind of elixir with elixir pattern can't be refined every time." Su Wujin put away the 3 void-breaking pills, returned the jade bottle in his hand to Qin Haodong, and paid 3,000 top-grade spirit stones. Feng Qiong said, "Junior brother, you're now a 6th-grade alchemist, 1 level higher than me. Can you accept me as your disciple?" Qin Haodong said, "There's no need. I haven't thought about accepting disciples at this age. If you have any problems in alchemy and want to learn from me, you can come to me at any time. I promise I'll teach you everything I know." Seeing Qin Haodong's firm attitude, Feng Qiong hesitated for a moment and said, Then, can I call you senior brother from now on?" "Well, you can call me whatever you want." But Qin Haodong didn't refuse this time. A smile appeared on Feng Qiong's arrogant face and she said sweetly, "Senior brother Qin." Su Wujin was secretly surprised. He had never seen this arrogant little girl speak to someone in such a tone. Qin Haodong nodded and said, "Since you call me senior brother, I'll give this void-breaking pill to you as a gift." This is too expensive, isn't it?" Feng Qiong was a little hesitant. This elixir was worth 1,000 top-grade spirit stones. She didn't expect that Qin Haodong would give it to her so casually. Qin Haodong said, "It's just a pill. It's not expensive. If you don't accept it, don't call me senior brother in the future." "Thank you, senior brother," Feng Qiong said and took the void-breaking pill. Su Wujin said, "Qiong, try it now and see what effect this void-breaking pill with elixir pattern has." "Yes, teacher." The 3 of them returned to the quiet room together. Feng Qiong sat cross-legged, swallowed the void-breaking pill, and began to run her genuine qi to break through to the late stage of void training realm. Su Wujin and Qin Haodong stood next to her. Although they couldn't see the changes in Feng Qiong's body, they could feel that her momentum was constantly rising. About half an hour later, Feng Qiong's momentum reached its peak. With a loud bang in her head, she finally broke through the middle stage of void training realm and reached the late stage of void training realm. She was only 1 step away from the consummation. She slowly opened her eyes and stood up from the ground. She took Qin Haodong's arm and said, "Thank you, senior brother." At this time, her eyes were full of admiration and gratitude. She had always been the best among her peers since she was a child. No one had ever been better than her. Although the Black Tortoise Institute's 5 dragons and 3 phoenixes had a higher cultivation level than her, but those people were all older than her. Moreover, she was an alchemist, so a high cultivation level alone was not enough to completely subdue her. In general, Qin Haodong was the first man who could truly convince her. "You're welcome. I'm your senior brother, and I need to rely on you to protect me in the future." Qin Haodong joked and then said to Su Wujin, "President Su, I'll go back if there's nothing else." Su Wujin nodded and said, "You go back first." I don't have a 6th grade alchemist medal. You need to apply for it from the headquarters of the alchemists in Black Tortoise Kingdom. I'll send it to you in a few days. The three of them walked out together and came to the examination room. Zhang Depeng, Ma Yan and the others had been waiting here since they came out, waiting for news. Seeing that Fang Qiong'er had walked out unscathed, everyone was relieved. Although Fang Qiong'er was arrogant, it did not hinder her charm. These people all regarded her as a goddess, so they naturally didn't want anything to happen to her. After seeing these people, Fang Qiong'er remembered that the exam papers had not been reviewed yet. She said to Qin Haodong apologetically, "Senior brother, you go first. I can't accompany you. I have to finish reviewing the papers as soon as possible." "It's okay. I can go by myself." Qin Haodong smiled at Fang Qiong'er. Fang Qiong'er responded with a smile. The temperature of the whole room seemed to rise a bit, and the air became extremely cheerful. As the saying goes, a smile can charm 100 people. It was the most suitable description for Fang Qiong'er at this moment. "Girls, you're still prettier when you smile more." Qin Haodong patted Fang Qiong'er on the shoulder and turned around to leave the examination room. This time, everyone was dumbfounded. What was going on? This guy was just a new student when he came here. He didn't even take the alchemist exam. How did he become the senior brother of a goddess? How could the goddess not be angry at him for touching a girl? Many of them had known Fang Qiong'er for some time. This goddess was very arrogant, and they had never seen her smile at any man. But today, she actually smiled at Qin Haodong, which was more surprising than the sun rising from the west. Fang Qiong'er ignored everyone's surprised look. After Qin Haodong left, the smile on her face also disappeared, and she became the cold and arrogant goddess again. Then she sat at the table and began to review the papers. Qin Haodong walked out of the door of the Alchemist Guild. This time, he had gained a lot. Not only did he improve his cultivation, but he also earned a lot of spirit stones and 3 void-breaking pills. He was about to walk in the direction of the medicinal materials sales hall, but after a few steps, he saw a dozen people suddenly rushed out and blocked his way. "Qin, let's see who can protect you this time." It was Dong Junjiang who spoke. Next to him stood Dong Junhai and a dozen other students, all of whom had reached the late stage of divine transformation realm. Qin Haodong smiled slightly. "As a man, I neither need anyone to protect me, nor do I need to rely on anyone. I won't complain after being beaten." "You," Dong Junjiang's face turned red from the sarcasm. He said to Dong Junhai, "Brother, you must help me teach this guy a lesson. Let him know how to behave in our Black Tortoise Academy." Dong Junhai stepped in front of Qin Haodong. "Boy, without the little witch here, why are you still so arrogant? Let me tell you, there are only 2 ways for you to go today. Either you hand over 200 spirit stones of the highest quality, or I'll break your legs." Qin Haodong glanced at him and asked indifferently, "As far as I know, our school forbids students from fighting. Do you want to be expelled from Black Tortoise Academy?" "Expelled from Black Tortoise Academy?" Dong Junhai laughed disdainfully. "Let me tell you, these rules are for ordinary students like you. They have no effect on me. Even if I break your legs, I'll at most give you some spirit stones as punishment. I won't be expelled from Black Tortoise Academy." A tall and thin student next to him also shouted, "That's right. Don't you know who our brother is? He's one of the top 10 in Black Tortoise Academy. In a few days, the competition between the North and South Academies of Black Tortoise Academy will be held. Our academy is counting on my brother to win glory for our school. How can we expel him?" Dong Junhai said proudly, "Did you hear that? I won't be expelled. Are you going to hand over the money or let me break your legs?" Chapter 877. Qin Haodong glanced at him and asked, "You mean, as long as you have the strength, you won't be expelled even if you violate the rules of the college?" Dong Junhai said proudly, "Of course. The Northern College has been losing against the Southern College for 5 years in a row. We can't lose this year no matter what. I'm one of the top 10 masters and the college is counting on me to bring glory to the college. The dean won't expel me, so you don't have anything to rely on. Just hand over the money. Qin Haodong smiled and said playfully, "That's good. Come on, let's do it." He had some scruples at first. He had just arrived at the Black Tortoise College and there were abundant cultivation resources here. It would be bad if he was kicked out. Dong Junhai's expression changed and he shouted, "Boy, have you really thought about it?" He didn't want to make a big deal out of Dong Junjiang. He just wanted to extort some top-grade spirit stones, but he didn't expect this new student to be so stingy. "Come on, don't dawdle. I'm in a hurry," Qin Haodong said impatiently. "Good boy, you won't shed a tear until you see the coffin. Today I'll show you my power." Dong Junhai stretched out his right hand and hit Qin Haodong's chest. The steel opening palm was his best move. Although it wouldn't kill Qin Haodong, it was enough to make him lie in bed for a few months. Dong Junhai's cultivation had reached the early stage of the void refinement stage. His palm looked extremely sharp and pierced through the air, as if the surrounding air was about to collapse. Qin Haodong's expression didn't change at all. He might have been afraid before he entered the Medicine Refinement Union, but now he was at the middle stage of the void refinement stage. Dealing with this guy in front of him was as easy as eating and drinking. Just as he was about to raise his genuine qi, he suddenly smelled a fragrance and then a slim figure stood between him and Dong Junhai. It was Fang Qiong'er. They were in front of the Medicine Refinement Union. She heard that someone was going to make things difficult for Qin Haodong, so she immediately rushed over. In her opinion, Qin Haodong was at most at the early stage of the void refinement stage, and he had just broken through. Naturally, he couldn't be compared with Dong Junhai. Therefore, she forcibly intervened and stood in front of Qin Haodong. She raised her hand and slapped at Dong Junhai. In Dong Junhai's eyes, Qin Haodong, who had just entered the academy, was at most in the early stage of the divine transformation realm. Qin Haodong was no match for an expert in the void refinement realm like him. However, he did not expect that Fang Qiong'er would suddenly appear out of nowhere. It was too late for him to stop now, so he could only grit his teeth and fight. A loud bang resounded. Fang Qiong'er stood in front of Qin Haodong and did not move, but Dong Junhai flew backward like a kite with a broken string. He began to vomit blood in midair, and finally hit a big tree with a bang and fell to the ground. He was only at the early stage of the void refinement state and ranked last among the top 10 cultivators. There was a huge gap between him and Fang Qiong'er. Besides, Fang Qiong'er had already reached the late stage of void refinement after taking the void-breaking pill. The gap between them would only widen, and he would not be able to withstand a single attack from her. When Qin Haodong saw that someone was fighting for him, he was happy to enjoy it and watched happily from the side. Dong Junhai picked himself up from the ground, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and said angrily, "Fang Qiong'er, what are you doing? What does this have to do with you?" Fang Qiong'er raised her chin like a proud swan and said, "Dong Junhai, I don't care if you and your stupid brother bully others, but you have offended my senior brother. You must apologize to him today, or you will not be able to leave." Dong Junhai was stunned. He and Dong Junjiang had always bullied the weak and feared the strong. Fang Qiong'er was already stronger than him, and it seemed that she had improved today, so he was even less of a match for her. He had no choice but to shout fiercely, "Fang Qiong'er, don't mess around. Have you forgotten the rules of our academy? You will be expelled from the academy if you fight in private." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Master Dong, didn't you just say that as long as you have the strength, you will not be expelled even if you violate the rules of the academy?" Dong Junhai was speechless. He had just said that, but he did not expect that it would be used against him so soon. "You, Qin boy, come and fight me if you can. What's the point of always hiding behind a woman?" He was really depressed now. Yesterday, he had just brought some people to look for Qin Haodong, but they ran into the little she-devil, who was scared by the three-headed hellhound. After that, he had sent people to keep an eye on Qin Haodong. When he learned that Qin Haodong had entered the school of alchemy alone, he sent people to guard the door, wanting to teach this ignorant newbie a lesson while the little she-devil was not there. Unexpectedly, the little she-devil was not there, but Feng Qiunger jumped out. Was a pretty boy so attractive to women? Qin Haodong said with a smile, "You can talk after you defeat my junior sister." At this time, Feng Qiunger was full of respect and admiration for Qin Haodong, who could be regarded as her idol in life. At this time, seeing that the Dong brothers had no intention of apologizing, her expression suddenly became cold. "Dong, since you don't know what's good for you, then I won't go easy on you." Feng Qiunger exploded. Not only Dong Zhenhai and Dong Zhenjiang were unlucky, but also the dozen or so lackeys he had brought with him. The dozen or so people were beaten until they cried for their parents and crawled on the ground. At first, Dong Zhenhai was still a little unconvinced and wanted to fight back, but he was beaten again and vomited blood. In the end, he was finally beaten up. Not to mention the others, Dong Zhenjiang shouted at the top of his lungs, "Help! Hurry up and help! Dean, someone broke the rules of the school." This guy was born with a croaky voice, and coupled with his desperate shouting, it immediately spread to almost half of the school. Countless students quickly flew over, wanting to see what was going on. When they saw the Dong brothers were beaten up by Feng Qiunger and crawling on the ground, many people clapped and cheered. Feng Qiunger stepped on Dong Zhenhai's chest and said, "Hurry up and apologize to my senior brother." Dong Zhenhai did not want to apologize, but he was really afraid of being beaten by Feng Qiunger. If he apologized, with so many people watching, how could he continue to stay in the school in the future? "Junior sister, why are you forcing him to apologize? What's the use of apologizing? It's not worth money." Qin Haodong came to Dong Zhenhai with a smile, squatted down, looked at him and said, "I've always been a reasonable person. Now I'll give you two choices. Either you pay me 200 top-grade spirit stones as compensation for mental damage, or I'll break your legs." Dong Zhenhai's face had already turned red. This was the condition he had just proposed to Qin Haodong. The wheel of fortune had turned, and in the blink of an eye, it had fallen on him. He said fiercely, "I don't believe you dare to break my legs." Qin Haodong said with a smile, "Maybe I don't dare, but my junior sister has a bad temper. Maybe she will accidentally break your legs, and it will be too late to regret." Hearing his words, Feng Qiunger stepped on Dong Zhenhai's thigh very cooperatively. With a little force, she could break his leg in an instant. From his position, Qin Haodong could see Feng Qiunger's legs. He could not help but secretly admire her long legs. It was a pity that she did not wear a miniskirt and high heels. While he was peeking, suddenly a figure flashed in front of him. Luo Dongqing landed in the crowd with a huge wine gourd on her back. "What's going on? Who told you to fight?" At this time, Luo Dongqing was speaking seriously, exuding a strong momentum. Qin Haodong glanced at the old man and found that he had reached the peak of the form synthesis stage. "Dean, you're here. Dean, help me," Dong Zhenhai immediately shouted desperately as if he had seen a family member. In front of Luo Dongqing, Feng Qiunger could not go too far, so she immediately took back her long legs. Luo Dongqing cried with a serious face, "You openly violated the rules of the college and fought here. Do you want me to kick you out of Black Tortoise College?" "You're wrong, Dean." Luo Zhenjiang said with tears and snot, "Dean, we were not fighting, we were completely beaten. Look at us, we were beaten like this. You must help us." Luo Zhenhai also said, "Dean, the two of them teamed up to blackmail us. They just wanted to blackmail me for 200 top-grade spirit stones." As he spoke, he raised his hand and pointed at Feng Qiunger and Qin Haodong. Luo Dongqing looked in the direction of his finger. When she saw Qin Haodong, she was slightly stunned at first, and then a flash of joy flashed in her eyes. Feng Qiunger hurriedly said, "Dean Luo, they teamed up to bully my senior brother, so I took action. Luo Dongqing said, I don't care what the reason is. Gathering people to fight is against the rules of the college. This time I'll be lenient and not kick you out of the college, but the basic punishment will still be imposed. Each of you will pay 200 top-grade spirit stones as a fine for this violation. If you do it again, get out of Black Tortoise College. Seeing that the dean had made the decision, Dong Junhai and the others did not dare to refute. They could only obediently pay 200 top-grade spirit stones. Fang Qiunger also took out 200 top-grade spirit stones to pay the fine. Dong Junhai was furious. Seeing that Qin Haodong did not do anything, he shouted to Luo Dongqing, Dean, it's all because of him. He should also pay the fine. Qin Haodong spread out his hands and said, Dean Luo, as you can see, I neither hit anyone nor was beaten. I didn't participate in the fight at all. There's no reason for me to pay the fine. Forget it, all of you can leave now. You are strictly prohibited from violating the rules of the college in the future, or you will be severely punished. Luo Dongqing reprimanded several people and said to Qin Haodong, come with me. Then he turned his head and walked in the direction of the dean's office. Qin Haodong whispered in Fang Qiunger's ear, you can go back first. Don't worry, I'll help you get your fine back. Fang Qiunger was a 5th-grade alchemist. She often refined elixirs and sold them. She was also a rich woman, so she did not care about the fine of 200 spirit stones. However, Qin Haodong spoke in her ear in public. He looked very intimate, and a breath of manly smell came to her face, which made her heart beat wildly. She lowered her head and said softly, Under many people's gazes, Qin Haodong followed Luo Dongqing to his office. Luo Dongqing sat in the dean's seat, looked at Qin Haodong with a serious expression, and said, you caused a fight among the students as soon as you arrived at the college. How should I punish you? Qin Haodong was not nervous at all. He said with a smile, Dean, I didn't make any mistakes. You have no reason to punish me. On the contrary, I helped you earn so much money. Shouldn't you give me some of it? How dare you talk to me like this? Don't you have any rules? Luo Dongqing slapped the table, and the momentum of a strong man instantly burst out. Old man, don't bully my little brother. As soon as he finished speaking, the little devil Luo Hongying walked in from outside. Chapter 878. After seeing Luo Hongying, Luo Dongqing's powerful momentum suddenly disappeared, and he cried in annoyance, you stinky girl, what are you talking about? I'm your grandfather. The little she-devil put her hands on her hips and shouted aggressively, if you bully my little brother, I'll call you an old man. Stinky girl, how dare you help outsiders to deal with your grandfather? Do you want to be taught a lesson? The little she-devil cried fearlessly, if you dare to touch me, I'll tell grandma that you were drunk and harassed a female teacher of the college. Well, my good granddaughter, grandpa is joking with you. Don't go to your grandma and say bad things about grandpa. This sentence seemed to poke Luo Dongqing's weak point. He suddenly looked like a deflated ball, and his momentum was gone. A flattering smile appeared on his serious face. Seeing this scene, Qin Haodong almost choked to death by his own saliva. This old man was really a little too interesting. He was strangled by his granddaughter. It seemed that he suffered from a serious henpecked wife. The little she-devil raised her chin like a proud hen. She turned to Qin Haodong and said, little brother, if this old man bullies you in the future, you can find me. I'll help you vent your anger. Luo Dongqing was so angry that he looked up to the sky and sighed, alas, girls are extroverted. People are not what they used to be. Qin Haodong patted the little she-devil's head and said to Luo Dongqing, Dean Luo, you don't have to beat around the bush. You just want 2 more bottles of wine from me, don't you? Luo Dongqing said with some embarrassment, how did you know? It's not hard to guess. I was originally a victim in this matter. If you want to punish me, you can punish me there. Why did you call me to your office? Young man, you're smart. No wonder my granddaughter likes you. Luo Dongqing immediately said with a smile, since you can see it, then give me 2 bottles of wine. To be honest, after drinking your wine last time, other wines are like cold water. They have no taste at all. I've been so hungry these days. Qin Haodong said, I have wine, but I can't give it to you for free. I know. Isn't it just 10 top-grade spirit stones for a bottle? I'll give you the money right now. Thinking of the taste of the 2 bottles of Maotai, Luo Dongqing swallowed her saliva. She reached out to grab a handful of top-grade spirit stones from the storage ring and put them in front of Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong said, Dean Luo, it's not about money. My wine is limited, and I can't sell it at will. Luo Dongqing heard the hidden meaning in his words. He immediately patted his chest and said, Young man, just state your conditions. For the sake of my granddaughter, this old man will definitely agree to it. The little she-devil snorted and said unhappily, Little brother, since the old man is giving me face, then you don't have to give me the wine. Luo Dongqing's face suddenly turned bitter. She said in annoyance, You little girl, you don't know how to say a few good words for your grandfather. Why should I help you? I am your grandfather. Can't you tell who is closest to you? Of course I can. Little brother is the closest to me. The little she-devil held Qin Haodong's arm and said proudly. Luo Dongqing was so angry that his beard twitched, but he couldn't do anything to his granddaughter. Qin Haodong said, Well, Dean Luo, let's talk about the conditions. As long as you agree to my conditions, I guarantee that you will be able to drink good wine immediately. Come on, as long as I can drink good wine, I will agree to any conditions. Luo Dongqing said eagerly. What happened today is not our fault at all. It was Dong Zhenhai and his men who came to provoke us. So shouldn't my junior sister's fine be returned to me? Luo Dongqing glared and said, That's 200 spirit stones. You can buy a cart of 10 li xiang. Qin Haodong said lightly, Well, forget what I said. Go and drink 10 li xiang. Luo Dongqing originally wanted to talk about the price, but seeing Qin Haodong's attitude, it seemed that he had a firm grip on him. However, since he drank Maotai, the 10 li xiang was really like water, without any taste of wine. Okay. I'm afraid of you. Isn't it just 200 spirit stones? Here you are. After saying that, Luo Dongqing slapped the 200 spirit stones in front of Qin Haodong and said, Take out the wine quickly. Qin Haodong took the spirit stones and said happily, I haven't finished talking about my conditions. How can I give you the wine now? Luo Dongqing glared and said, Boy, don't go too far. I've returned all the spirit stones to you. The little witch immediately patted the table and cried, Old man, don't be mean to my little brother. Luo Dongqing's expression froze and she cried angrily, Girls are outgoing. Girls are outgoing. I'm so angry. Qin Haodong said, Dean Luo, before you came, I had already talked about the price with Dong Zhenhai. He had to compensate me 200 spirit stones. You messed up my business when you came. Shouldn't you compensate me? Luo Dongqing said angrily, You brat, are you blackmailing me? Qin Haodong did not speak. Instead, he took out a bottle of drunkard's wine from his storage ring. He opened the lid and sniffed it with his nose. It smells so good. I feel comfortable just by smelling it. I wonder what it tastes like to drink it. As an old drunkard, Luo Dongqing immediately smelled the aroma of the drunkard's wine and swallowed hard. Brat, I'm afraid of you. I'll give you another 200 spirit stones. Hurry up and give me a sip of this wine. I'm dying of thirst. Luo Dongqing took out 200 spirit stones and threw them to Qin Haodong. Then she reached out to grab the bottle of drunkard's wine. Qin Haodong was secretly amused. What he lacked most now was the spirit stones. It was not easy to catch a rich man. He must make a fortune. He thought of something and put the bottle into the storage ring. Dean Luo, I haven't finished talking about my conditions yet. Brat, you've gone too far. I've already given you 400 spirit stones. What else do you want? Dean Luo, don't be angry. Let's talk about it. Qin Haodong said with a smile, you fined everyone 200 top-grade spirit stones today. That's more than 2,000 spirit stones. Shouldn't I share some of the credit? Luo Dongqing said angrily, what does it have to do with you? Qin Haodong said naturally, of course it has something to do with me. If it weren't for me, they wouldn't have violated the rules of the college. If they didn't violate the rules of the college, where would you get a fine? Little brother is right. Hurry up and give some money to little brother. The little witch immediately stood on Qin Haodong's side. Brat, believe it or not, I'll drive you both out of the Black Tortoise College. The little witch did not show weakness and cried, old man, believe it or not, I'll tell grandma that you can't enter the house for the rest of your life. Luo Dongqing did not directly admit defeat this time. She rolled her eyes and said, Brat, believe it or not, I'll tell your grandma that you have puppy love. Puppy love? The little witch curled her lips and said, I'm not afraid. Grandma always says that she's afraid that I can't get married. If I have a boyfriend, she'll be very happy. Qin Haodong finally understood that in their family, the grandma who he had never met was in charge. Both the little witch and Luo Dongqing were very afraid of that person. Luo Dongqing took 2 deep breaths and finally gave in again. Boy, this is the last time I give in. I will give you another 600 top-grade spirit stones. If you are greedy again, this old man will be angry with you. After that, he threw another 600 spirit stones to Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong took the money and said happily, thank you, old man. This is the wine for you. After that, he took out a whole box of drunkard's wine from his storage ring and put it on the desk in front of him. Luo Dongqing could not wait to grab the bottle that had just been opened and drank half of it in one breath. Then she cried with joy, good wine, it's really good. Qin Haodong said with a smile, Dean Luo, you've drunk it all. You're welcome to buy wine from me again. Stinking brat, who can afford to drink this wine of yours? Luo Dongqing seemed to think of something. A smile appeared on his face. He looked at him and said, boy, are you pursuing my granddaughter? As long as you can give me 100 bottles, no. 200 bottles of this wine as a betrothal gift, I'll agree. Old man, how dare you exchange me for wine? The little witch said angrily, besides, when did you have the right to call the shots in our family? Luo Dongqing's expression froze and he said embarrassedly, even if it's your grandma who calls the shots, I still have to consider my opinion. Who wants to consider your opinion? It's useless no matter what you say. The little witch took Qin Haodong's arm and said, little brother, let's go. Don't talk to this old man. After that, they left the dean's office together. Luo Dongqing was so angry that he glared, but he quickly grabbed the remaining half bottle of wine and drank it happily. After going out, Qin Haodong said, thank you for your help. He knew very well that if it weren't for the little witch, he would not have gotten so many top-grade spirit stones. Luo Dongqing was a master at the late stage of form synthesis. Once she was angry, he would not be able to bear it. The little witch said with a smile, little brother, if you want to thank me, make me more delicious food. Qin Haodong secretly laughed. One was a drunkard, and the other was a foodie. He didn't know what kind of person his grandma was. No problem, this is for you. Then Qin Haodong magically took out an ice cream cone from his storage ring and gave it to the little witch. This was a snack prepared for the little fellow in the past. She could eat it whenever she wanted. Now it was Luo Hongying's turn. What's this? The little witch had never seen an ice cream cone before. She took a bite and the incomparable sweetness filled her mouth. Little brother, thank you. This is so delicious. The little witch was so excited that she even kissed Qin Haodong on the face. Qin Haodong wiped the ice cream on his face and said with a smile, this is called ice cream cone. Is it delicious? It's delicious. It's really delicious. I've never eaten something so delicious. The little witch finished speaking and ate it in big mouthfuls. Qin Haodong asked, "Is your grandma very powerful? Your grandpa seems to be very afraid of your grandma." "Of course he's afraid, because he made a mistake and grandma hasn't forgiven him yet." Qin Haodong suddenly became curious and asked, "I think Dean Luo is a good person. How could he make a mistake?" The little she-devil said as she ate her ice cream, "It's all because of the alcohol. 10 years ago, he had too much to drink and somehow ended up in a female teacher's bed. He was even caught red-handed by his grandmother. Since then, Grandma has driven him out of the house and never let him go home." Qin Haodong didn't expect Luo Dongqing to have such a romantic history. He asked, "I don't think your grandpa is that kind of person. How could he make such a mistake? Your grandma is so cruel. It's been 10 years and she still hasn't forgiven him?" Chapter 879. The little witch said, "I agree with you. I don't think Grandpa is that kind of person. There must be some misunderstanding, but I was young at that time, so I didn't know what happened. But Grandma didn't think so. She was very angry and didn't forgive Grandpa even after 10 years. The old man was really pitiful. In comparison, he was much happier." With this thought, he suddenly thought of the women on Earth and suddenly missed them. He had to improve his cultivation as soon as possible and go back to reunite with his family. "Little brother, what are you thinking about? Why do you look so sad?" "Nothing." Although the little girl trusted him very much, Qin Haodong still didn't want to tell her his secret. He changed the topic and said, "How did you get here?" The little witch said, "I went back to the dormitory with Sister Xingyue after class. When I passed by, I heard that you were taken into the office by Grandpa. I was afraid that he would embarrass you, so I came to help you." Qin Haodong said, "I'm going to the medicinal materials market to buy some medicinal materials. Do you want to go back to the dormitory or go with me?" "Of course I'm going with you. Before you and Sister Xingyue came, I had no friends in the whole college. They were scared to death when they saw me. No one dared to play with me." Qin Haodong said with a smile, "You always play tricks on others." He now understood those people who ran away when they saw Luo Hongying. They couldn't afford to offend this little witch, nor could they beat her. She had a grandpa who was the dean as her backer. The best choice was to stay as far away as possible. The little witch smiled and said, "It's Grandma who said that there are no good men, so I habitually play tricks on them. In fact, it's not my fault. Those people are too annoying. If they were as handsome and good at cooking as you, I would have made friends with them long ago." Qin Haodong shook his head secretly. It seemed that the old people still had a great influence on children. At the same time, he was full of curiosity about her grandmother. He didn't know what kind of woman she was. They went to the medicinal materials market. Qin Haodong chose the medicinal materials he needed and then showed his 5th grade alchemist medal. It was the waiter who received him just now. He was shocked when he saw Qin Haodong take out the medal. He didn't expect that this new student would bring back an alchemist medal so soon, and the level was so high. "Junior brother, you didn't borrow this medal, did you?" Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Do you think anyone will lend me the medal of a 5th grade alchemist? That won't happen. Only senior sister Fang Qiong'er has a 5th grade alchemist medal in our academy. She would never lend it to you." The waiter shook his head and denied his idea. Then he began to pay the bill for Qin Haodong. Originally, these medicinal materials cost 1,200 top-grade spirit stones. With a 50% discount, Qin Haodong paid 600 spirit stones in total. Qin Haodong put the herbs into the storage ring with satisfaction. It seemed that the alchemist medal was very useful. After buying the herbs, he returned to the dormitory with the little she-devil. He saw Zhao Xingyue standing in the courtyard and looking in his direction, like a little wife waiting for her man to return. "What are you doing here?" Qin Haodong asked. "I was waiting for you to come back," Zhao Xingyue said with some embarrassment. "Then why don't you wait in your room? Zhao Xingyue lowered her head and said, I don't dare to stay in the house alone. Qin Haodong was speechless. This woman looked like a princess. Her cultivation at the late stage of the divine transformation realm was not bad, but she was so timid. He took the two into the room and quickly cooked a delicious dinner for them. Then, he took out the herbs in the ring and prepared to start alchemy. Although the dormitory in the Black Tortoise Academy was a little expensive, it was worth it. Each dormitory was equipped with a small alchemy room. The little she-devil patted her belly with satisfaction. Seeing that Qin Haodong was about to start alchemy, she said, Little brother, I'm going out for a walk. I'll come back at night to play with you. Go ahead. Qin Haodong didn't want to have such a little she-devil by his side when he was alchemy. Who knew when she would cause trouble? Little brother, do you still have that ice cream cone? Can you give me another one? The little she-devil licked her delicate red lips as she spoke. It seemed that this little girl was addicted to it. You'll get fat if you're so greedy. Qin Haodong pinched her little nose and then took out 2 ice cream cones from the storage ring. He gave one to the little she-devil and the other to Zhao Xingyue. I'm a natural beauty. I won't get fat. The little she-devil took the ice cream and ran out with a giggle. Qin Haodong entered the alchemy room. Zhao Xingyue quietly watched him while eating ice cream. The first thing Qin Haodong refined was the fortune elixir. He was already very familiar with this kind of elixir. Half an hour later, 9 fortune elixirs with 4 patterns appeared in his jade bottle. Brother Qin, your alchemy technique is really amazing. Even the best alchemist I've seen can't refine elixirs with 4 patterns. Not bad. Qin Haodong took out 2 fortune elixirs and handed them to Zhao Xingyue. These 2 are for you. Eat them and see if you can break through your current realm. Thank you, Brother Qin. Zhao Xingyue took the elixir excitedly and swallowed it. Then, she sat cross-legged and began to cultivate. Although it was not easy to break through the bottleneck between the soul formation realm and the void refinement realm, Zhao Xingyue took 2 fortune elixirs with 4 patterns at once. The power of the elixir was so strong that she broke through the bottleneck in 10 minutes and entered the early stage of the void refinement realm. Brother Qin, your elixir is so good. It made me break through so quickly. Zhao Xingyue said excitedly. Don't worry. Eat this again. Qin Haodong took out another void-breaking elixir and gave it to Zhao Xingyue. He wanted to see if this little girl could be more courageous after her cultivation improved. Zhao Xingyue took another void-breaking elixir. Half an hour later, her cultivation stepped into the middle stage of the void refinement realm. After finishing her cultivation, she jumped up from the ground and held Qin Haodong's arm. She said excitedly, Brother Qin, you're really amazing. You made me break through twice in such a short time. Qin Haodong said, how about it? Are you a little more daring now? Do you dare to stay at home by yourself? The smile on Zhao Xingyue's face quickly disappeared. She said nervously, Brother Qin, you don't want to leave me alone, do you? Qin Haodong sighed. It seemed that his efforts were in vain. This girl's aptitude was good and her cultivation improved fast, but she was not courageous at all. That's not what I mean. I just think you can't be so timid. Zhao Xingyue said in a low voice, I can't help it. Courage has nothing to do with cultivation. In the face of such a poor girl, Qin Haodong could do nothing but continue to make elixirs. After Qin Haodong and the others left the College of Alchemists, Dong Zhenhai took Dong Zhenjiang and a group of men back to his dormitory. These people were all bruised and swollen. They walked with a limp and looked embarrassed. After dealing with their injuries, Dong Zhenhai said angrily to Dong Zhenjiang, it's all your fault. You always go out to flirt and cause trouble for me. Now, not only have you been beaten like a dog, but you also lost more than 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. What do you think you should do? Dong Zhenjiang said with a bitter face, Brother, you can't blame me. Who knew that the guy was so popular with women? He even hooked up with Feng Qiong, that big ice cube. Dong Junhai was still angry and said, "Cut the crap. This happened because of you. We lost more than 2,000 top-grade spirit stones at once. That's money. How many tasks do we have to do to earn so much money? Not only that, but we were beaten like this in public. How can we stay in the college in the future? Do we still want our faces?" Dong Junjiang said embarrassedly, "Brother, in fact, I have a way to recover all our losses and teach that toy boy Qin a lesson." Dong Junhai said angrily, "That's a bad idea. We listened to you twice and lost more than 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. If we listen to you again, we will go bankrupt. Brother, this is really a good idea. You will know after listening to me. This time, we don't need to do it ourselves." Dong Junhai glanced at Dong Junjiang and said doubtfully, "What's the good idea? Tell me about it." Dong Junjiang said, "Brother, have you forgotten who Fang Qiong is? It's He Kaishan. As long as we tell him that the toy boy seduced Fang Qiong, he will avenge us without us doing anything." Dong Junhai's expression changed and then his eyes lit up. "Yes, why didn't I think of that?" The top 10 experts that Zhang Depeng mentioned actually referred to the northern campus of Black Tortoise College, which was where they lived. He Kaishan ranked 6th among the top 10 experts and had reached the middle stage of qi refining, which was one level higher than Dong Junhai. He Kaishan had always been attracted to Fang Qiong, and had been attacking her. However, Fang Qiong, did not like him at all, so there was no result. Even so, He Kaishan regarded Fang Qiong, as his exclusive property and did not allow any man to get close to her. If they went to find He Kaishan now and told him the news, he would be happy to cooperate with them. "Second brother, you finally came up with a decent idea this time. Let's go and have a look now." Dong Junjiang said, "Brother, we'd better take care of our injuries, or it'll be too embarrassing to go now." Dong Junhai also thought it made sense. Students like them always had medicine for injuries. Then the dozen of them rubbed and treated each other's injuries. About 2 hours later, the bruises on their faces finally subsided a lot. "Let's go and find He Kaishan now." Dong Junhai and Dong Junjiang soon arrived at He Kaishan's dormitory. They were both senior students of the college and ranked among the top 10 experts in the college, so they were very familiar with each other. Seeing Dong Junhai's sudden visit, He Kaishan invited him into the room and asked, "Brother Dong, what can I do for you?" "Brother He, I think you might have been cheated on." Dong Junjiang was more adept at stirring up trouble. He told the story of Qin Haodong and Fang Qiong's relationship with each other, and he almost made them give birth to a child. He Kaishan's face darkened and then he said, "That's impossible. Fang Qiong has always been silent. How could she be with a freshman?" "Brother He, I'm telling the truth. You didn't see what happened at that time. It was so unbearable. Fang Qiong was hugging that guy named Qin Haodong and calling him senior brother. It gave me goosebumps." Dong Junjiang said with saliva flying, "Brother He and I couldn't stand it anymore. We wanted to teach Qin Haodong a lesson with our brothers, but Fang Qiong beat us up and fined us more than 2,000 top-grade spirit stones by the dean. Brother He, I think we can't hide this from you. We have to teach Qin Haodong a lesson." Chapter 880. After saying that, he looked at He Kaishan eagerly, hoping to see his furious expression. But to his disappointment, He Kaishan was not as furious as he had expected. Instead, he looked at him with deep eyes and said, "Dong Junjiang, I've been in the Black Tortoise Academy for a long time, and I know everything. I believe that you were beaten by Fang Qiong, but I don't believe that she is so close to a new student. Could it be that the two of you were wronged by Qiong and suffered a great loss, so you want me to help you take revenge?" This, Dong Junjiang was slightly stunned. He Kaishan's intelligence was beyond his imagination, and he had guessed most of it. Dong Junhai hurriedly said, "Brother He, it's really not like what you think. The relationship between Fang Qiong and Qin Haodong is really unusual." He Kaishan frowned and said, but it doesn't make sense. Qiong'er has always been proud and arrogant. She doesn't even care about me, one of the top 10 masters in the school. How could she like a new guy? Dong Junjiang said, Brother He, you don't know, but that guy is very handsome, a toy boy, and he is very good at seducing girls. Not only does he have a close relationship with Fang Qiong'er, but he also has a good relationship with that little witch. Dong Junhai said, I've asked someone to inquire about it. This guy has just passed the 5th grade alchemist test in the Alchemist Union. Brother He, think about it, Fang Qiong'er values alchemy most. Qin Haodong must know this very well, so he carefully planned to pass the alchemist test to win her heart. He Kaishan's expression changed. You said that this guy passed the 5th grade alchemist test? He had been pursuing Fang Qiong'er for years, so he was very clear about the situation of the alchemist school. Fang Qiong'er was the only 5th grade alchemist in the whole school. If Qin Haodong could really get the 5th grade alchemist medal, it would be reasonable for him to win Fang Qiong'er's heart. Dong Junhai patted his chest and said, Brother He, I wouldn't dare lie to you. It's absolutely true. That guy just took the 5th grade alchemist medal to the pharmacy hall to buy medicinal materials. At this point, He Kaishan no longer doubted the Dong brothers' words. He clenched his teeth and said, A brat that just arrived dares to ride on my neck and steal the woman I've taken a fancy to? He must be tired of living. Seeing that He Kaishan had finally fallen into the trap, Dong Junjiang said with joy, Brother He, the little witch and Fang Qiong'er, it won't be easy for us to secretly attack him. I think you'd better challenge him directly. Even if you don't kill him, just destroy his cultivation, so that he can't hook up with women in the future. He Kaishan was not in a hurry to speak. He paced around the room with a gloomy expression and then said, Qin Haodong is just a freshman who just came to the academy, and I'm one of the top 10 experts in the academy. If I challenge him, it'll be like flattering him. I can't do that. Dong Junjiang said, but Brother He, it won't be easy if you don't pass the challenge. You know the rules of our Xuanwu Academy. Private fights are strictly forbidden. Once you're caught, you'll be severely punished even if you don't get expelled. We just lost more than 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. He Kaishan said, the academy has its rules, but I have my ways. Sometimes, you don't have to use force to solve problems. You can use your brain. Dong Junhai asked, Brother He, do you have a good idea? Doesn't he like women? Then let's give him a woman. He Kaishan looked at Dong Junhai and said, no woman in our academy is more sexy than your girlfriend, who may, You can ask her to seduce Qin Haodong. What? How can I do that? Absolutely not. Dong Junhai's expression changed greatly. If he could beat He Kaishan, he would have fallen out with him. Wasn't it obvious that He Kaishan was making him a cuckold? Brother Dong, don't worry. Listen to me slowly. He Kaishan said with a gloomy expression, I'm not asking you to really send a woman to that guy's bed. You just need to seduce him into the room, then tear your clothes and we'll catch him together. At that time, even if the little witch and Dean Luo want to protect that guy, they won't be able to do it. We can directly expel him from our Black Tortoise Academy. As long as he's not a student of our academy, he'll be a piece of meat on the chopping board. We can do whatever we want. Dong Junhai was still a little hesitant. His girlfriend, who was really sexy and flirtatious. He usually couldn't stand it, but now he actually asked Hu to take the initiative to seduce a man. He still felt a little uncomfortable in his heart. He Kaishan said, Brother Dong, you don't have to worry. We'll always be guarding outside. Are you afraid of being at a disadvantage? Dong Junjiang followed and said, Yes, brother. We'll always be guarding outside. Sister-in-law will definitely not be at a disadvantage. Brother He has a good idea. Once it succeeds, we can drive that guy surnamed Qin out of Black Tortoise Academy. Dong Junhai thought for a moment and agreed that it was true. He wouldn't be cuckolded if he watched outside. He gritted his teeth and said, Well, let's do as Brother He says. But then he said, but who doesn't know Qin Haodong at all. I'm afraid that guy won't fall for it if we rashly seduce him. He Kaishan said, that's easy. Isn't Hu a third-grade alchemist? When the time comes, we'll ask Qin Haodong to help her with alchemy. No matter what the guy says, we'll agree to it. At most, we'll promise him more spirit stones. As long as we trick him into coming home, we can do whatever we want. That's a good idea. The two quickly praised, Brother I only knew that your cultivation was high, but I didn't expect you to be so good at scheming. You even thought of this. He Kaishan smiled proudly and said, sometimes, brains are more useful than cultivation. Let's hurry up and do it now. Dong Zhenhai said, okay, I'll go find Hu now. They had thought of a proper way, but they didn't notice a black shadow rushing away outside the room. Qin Haodong refined a furnace of nature elixir, and then a furnace of healing elixir. Then, he walked out of the alchemy room with Zhao Xingyue. As soon as he went out, he saw Luo Hongying rushing in from outside with an excited face. Little brother, give me something delicious. I have important news to tell you. Qin Haodong had no choice but to take out 2 sticks of candied haws from his storage ring and gave them to Zhao Xingyue and the little demon girl. Little brother, you have so many delicious things. I don't want to leave you for the rest of my life. The little demon girl took the candied haws and ate one. Then, she said, guess what I just did? Where did you go? How would I know? Qin Haodong said, if you have any news, tell me quickly. Don't play the lawsuit anymore. The little demon girl giggled and said, actually, I just went to find the 2 guys surnamed Dong. I wanted to put something in their food and let them suffer a little to vent my anger. But I didn't expect that the 2 guys didn't eat at home. They went to find He Kaishan together. I followed them and happened to hear that they wanted to deal with you. Qin Haodong raised his eyebrows and asked, haven't they suffered enough? Is it not enough to be fined more than 2,000 spirit stones? This time, they are playing tricks and want to use the academy to drive you out. The little demon girl told Qin Haodong about the plan discussed by He Kaishan and the others from beginning to end. Finally, she said angrily, little brother, look at how vicious their tricks are. They actually came up with such a method. Zhao Xingyue was shocked and said nervously, Brother Qin, why don't we go out and hide, or lock the door of the courtyard and don't let them in? Qin Haodong was speechless. What was the use of locking the door when trouble came? This girl was at the middle stage of the void refining stage and was considered a master in the academy. How could she not have the courage to come out? Moreover, the plan of He Kaishan and the others was nothing in Qin Haodong's eyes. Wasn't this the badger game on Earth? This kind of thing had happened too many times in the past, so there was nothing new at all. Seeing that he didn't speak, the little demon girl thought that he was afraid. She said, little brother, do you want me to find Grandpa to deal with them? Qin Haodong said, no need. There is no need to trouble your grandpa for such a small matter. Besides, they haven't done anything now. Even if you find Dean Luo, it's useless. The little demon girl said, little brother, what are you going to do? A sneer appeared at the corner of Qin Haodong's mouth. He had 5,000 years of Huaxia culture in his head. He had seen all kinds of conspiracies and tricks. How dare they play badger game with him? He said to the little demon girl, do you want to play a game with them? Luo Hongying said excitedly, okay, little brother, I'll do whatever you want me to do, even if I secretly kill them. Qin Haodong was speechless. Of the 2 girls around him, one was fearless and bold, while the other was pitifully timid and did not dare to do anything. Here's my plan. Later, you will do as I say. In order to prevent Zhao Xingyue from getting nervous, Qin Haodong whispered his plan in Luo Hongying's ear. It's so fun. Little brother, you are so smart. I really admire you. The little she-devil turned her head and kissed Qin Haodong on the cheek again. Qin Haodong wiped the candied haws on his face and said, you little girl, don't always secretly take advantage of me, okay? The little demon girl giggled and said, "Hee hee. I can't help it." At this moment, there was a knock on the door and a charming voice called out, "Qin Haodong, are you there?" Qin Haodong opened the door and looked out. He saw a woman in a blue school uniform coming in. After seeing this woman, Qin Haodong's expression changed. When he was on Earth, people often compared some women with exaggerated figures to the Huaxia version of Kardashian. The woman in front of him was just like that. Her breasts and buttocks were a little too big, which made people speechless. At the same time, there was a charming smile on her face. No matter how you looked at her, she did not look like a quiet woman. After looking at her, he said, "Senior sister, I am Qin Haodong. What can I do for you?" The woman's eyes lit up when she saw Qin Haodong's handsome face. "Junior brother, let me introduce myself. My name is Humei, a third-year student of our Black Tortoise College, and I am also an alchemist. I heard that you are very good at alchemy and have already taken the 5th grade alchemist medal, so I want to ask you to give me some advice on alchemy. What do you think?" Chapter 881. As she spoke, she took 2 steps forward and gave Qin Haodong a very subtle wink. Then, she straightened her already extremely plump chest. Qin Haodong said, "In fact, I don't know much about alchemy, let alone guidance." Zhao Xingyue had heard He Kaishan's plan before, so she quickly followed and said, "Yes, in fact, Brother Qin doesn't know much about alchemy. Let's not go." While they were talking, Humei's eyes kept jumping on Qin Haodong's body. She thought to herself, this little handsome guy is handsome enough, but he is not tall, otherwise he would be perfect. "Junior, don't be too modest. I heard that you just took the 5th grade alchemist's medal today. If you are not proficient in alchemy, how can you have such a high achievement? I just want you to do me a favor. You won't refuse, will you?" While speaking, she twisted her sexy body to Qin Haodong's side, and her chest rubbed against his arm a few times. Looking at her exaggerated curves, Qin Haodong's eyes flashed with a look of obsession, and then he said, "You can go, but my fee is a little high." "Junior, do you have to charge for helping me?" Qin Haodong said, "Of course, I have to pay at least 500 top-grade spirit stones for each time I go out to give advice, no less." Humei widened her eyes and said, "Junior, isn't your fee a little too high?" Qin Haodong said, "Senior, an alchemist's time is money. If I have time to refine a furnace of elixirs, I'm afraid it will cost more than 500 top-grade spirit stones. Then I will still lose money." Seeing that he was asking for an exorbitant price, Humei sneered in her heart. "When you fall into our trap, you will have to spit out all the money." Thinking of this, she said coquettishly, "Well, as long as you are willing to help, I will take the money." Then she took out 500 top-grade spirit stones and put them on the table in front of Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong put the money away with a smile and said, "Well, since you sincerely invite me, I will go with you." Humei smiled and said, "Since you have accepted the money, you must give me good advice. It must be worth it." Qin Haodong was right. "Don't worry, senior sister. Wait for me. I'll go back to my room to change clothes and go with you." After saying that, he turned around and entered the bedroom. The little she-devil also skipped along with him. Humei sat down on a chair. Knowing that Humei did not come with good intentions, although Zhao Xingyue did not hide in the room, she turned her head away and did not speak to Humei. Humei sat there and waited for about 10 minutes before she saw Qin Haodong walk out of the room. Humei stood up and half-jokingly said, "Junior brother, you sure took a long time to change." Qin Haodong chuckled and said, "I have to dress up carefully when I go out with such a beautiful girl, or I will be laughed at. Junior brother sure knows how to talk." Humei took Qin Haodong's arm and they left together, heading to her dormitory. Looking at their backs, Zhao Xingyue stamped her feet fiercely. But since Qin Haodong wanted to go, there was nothing she could do. Humei took Qin Haodong to her dormitory and secretly made a gesture of success to the corner. Then they walked into the room together. After entering the door, Qin Haodong looked around and looked at the empty table. He said with some dissatisfaction, "Senior sister, don't you have anything delicious here?" "Delicious?" Hu Mei Er was slightly stunned and said, "That. Junior brother, I really don't have anything to eat here. It's boring without food." Qin Haodong said, "If you have any questions, ask quickly." Hu Mei Er said, "Junior brother, when I was refining the second-grade elixir, Yang Rising Pill, the furnace often exploded. What's going on?" She invited Qin Haodong over today with a special purpose, but this was also a problem that had been bothering her for a long time in alchemy. Qin Haodong said, "This question is so difficult. How would I know if you ask me?" Hu Mei Er said in surprise, "Junior brother, you are now a 5th-grade alchemist. Isn't it very easy for you to refine second-grade elixirs?" Qin Haodong waved his hand and said, "I can refine elixirs, but I'm not good at answering questions. I don't know the answer to this question." Hu Mei Er said, "Junior brother, how can you do this? You took 500 top-grade spirit stones from me." Qin Haodong said with a smile, "I just took the money to accompany you here. I didn't say that I could answer any question." Then he stood up and was about to leave. "Junior brother, don't go." Hu Mei Er stood up and stood in front of Qin Haodong. She clung to his chest and said, "Junior brother, you are so handsome. You can't refine elixirs, but you must know a little about other things, right? Otherwise, my 500 top-grade spirit stones would have been spent in vain." Qin Haodong did not understand and asked, "Senior sister, what do you mean?" "Of course, the things that all men think about." Hu Mei Er winked and said in a sweet voice, "Junior brother, do you think I'm beautiful?" Qin Haodong said, "Not bad. Junior brother, your taste is really high." Hu Mei Er did not expect Qin Haodong to give her such an evaluation, and then said, "Is a woman beautiful? How can you see it with clothes on? Come here, I'll give you a good look." Then she pulled Qin Haodong to the bed and then pushed him down on the bed. She tore her clothes into tatters and then shouted at the top of her voice, "Come on, someone is molesting me. Someone is molesting me. Senior sister, don't shout. I didn't do anything to you." Qin Haodong seemed to be frightened by her. He plunged into the corner of the bed and covered himself with the quilt, shivering. He Kai-shan, Dong Zhenhai and others had been waiting outside for a long time. Dong Zhenhai, in particular, was afraid that his woman would suffer if he came in late. He kicked the door open and rushed in from the outside with others. "Hu Mei Er, what's going on? Who bullied you?" Dong Zhenhai said angrily. "It's him. I invited him to teach me alchemy, but he wanted to molest me after he came in. He tore my clothes just now. Brother Hai, you must help me." People say that women are born to be actors, and this saying was amply proven by Hu Mei Er. Although it was just an act, as she spoke, she cried like a pear blossom in the rain, as if she had suffered a great grievance. He Kai-shan looked in Qin Haodong's direction and saw that Qin Haodong had buried himself in the quilt and was shivering. He Kai-shan could not help but smile contemptuously. He wondered why Fang Qiong'er would fall for such a coward. Dong Zhenhai had suffered 2 losses in succession in Qin Haodong's hands and had lost more than 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. At this moment, he was about to step forward and hit Qin Haodong, but was stopped by He Kai-shan. "Brother Dong, don't worry. It's better to let the college deal with people like him." He also winked at Dong Zhenhai, implying that this guy had a relationship with Dean Luo Dongqing. Once he hit Dong Zhenhai, it would be hard to say what would happen. Dong Zhenhai also understood the key point, so he snorted angrily. At this time, Dong Zhenjiang came in from outside with a middle-aged man about 50 years old. It was Wu Taicheng, who was on duty at night. Since He Kai-shan and the others were prepared, they had already found out who was on duty tonight. After hearing Hu Mei Er's cry, He Kai-shan and Dong Zhenhai rushed in, and Dong Zhenjiang directly went to call for help. In their view, now that there was irrefutable evidence, it would be difficult for the college to protect Qin Haodong, and he would definitely be kicked out of the college. As long as Qin Haodong was not a student of Black Tortoise Academy, they could do whatever they wanted. Mr. Wu, it's her. Stinky hooligan molested me. You must help me. After seeing Wu Taicheng, Hu Mei once again displayed her acting to the fullest. As if she had suffered a great grievance, she cried with snot and tears all over her face. Wu Taicheng asked, "Don't cry. Tell me clearly, what happened?" Dong Junhai also said with grief and indignation, "Mr. Wu, this guy is a new student of the college. I heard that he got the 5th grade alchemist medal. My girlfriend is also an alchemist, so I want to ask him for advice. But he not only charged us 500 top-grade spirit stones as tuition, but also came here to molest my girlfriend. You must punish him strictly according to the school rules." Wu Tiecheng's face was gloomy. If what Dong Junhai said was true, this person must be expelled according to the management rules of Black Tortoise Academy. But as a teacher, he also had to ask about the situation before making a decision. He called to the person on the bed, "Student, I'm the teacher on duty in our school. Please come out and talk." "Uncle Wu, you're here. You scared me to death." The person jumped out of the bed, took Wu Tiecheng's arm and cried, "Uncle Wu, you're here. You must help me." "Hongying, why are you here?" Wu Taicheng was shocked when he saw the person's appearance. It was Luo Hongying, Dean Luo's granddaughter. He Kaishan, Dong Junjiang, Dong Junhai, and Hu Mei were completely stunned. Wasn't this person Qin Haodong? How did he become a woman in the blink of an eye? And it was the little witch that everyone was afraid of. Luo Hongying said pitifully, "Uncle Wu, I met Sister Hu Mei tonight. She said she would treat me to something delicious, so she took me to her place. But there was nothing delicious at all. She wanted me to accompany her boyfriend. I didn't agree, so I shouted for help. You must help me." Hearing the little beauty's words, He Kaishan, Dong Junhai and others were at a loss. Things had gone completely beyond their expectations. As a teacher of Black Tortoise Academy, Wu Taicheng naturally knew the little witch's character. He knew that this girl must be playing a prank again. Things would never be as simple as she said. Even if Hu Mei was crazy, she wouldn't dare to force her to accompany her boyfriend. But now that things had happened, he naturally wouldn't find fault with the little witch. This girl was not only the dean's granddaughter, but also the extremely protective old lady behind her couldn't be provoked. Moreover, the words of Dong Junjiang and others were unreliable. Luo Hongying was a girl. Even if she liked to fool around, it was impossible for her to molest Hu Mei. He said to them with a sullen face, "You guys explain things clearly. Didn't you say that someone wanted to molest Hu Mei? Could it be Luo Hongying?" The 4 people present looked at each other, completely dumbfounded. Their plan was flawless, but they didn't expect it to develop like this. Looking at their dumbfounded expressions, a trace of craftiness flashed in the little she-devil's eyes as she called out again, "Uncle Wu, you see, they have nothing to say. You must help me get justice and chase these bad people out of Black Tortoise Institute." Chapter 882. Although Wu Taicheng knew that there was a hidden story behind the matter, he still wanted to stand on the side of the little witch. After all, she was the granddaughter of the headmaster and had a powerful background. These people could only blame themselves for being blind. They could have provoked anyone, but they had to provoke this little witch. He turned to look at them and said coldly, "Tell me, what the hell is going on? Student Luo Hongying is just a girl. How could she be brought here by you? Moreover, you even yelled that she was being molested. Do you know how bad this kind of behavior is?" The 4 of them were dumbfounded. He Kaishan couldn't care less now. He said first, "Mr. Wu, I don't know what's going on. I just followed Dong Junhai to take a look. This matter has nothing to do with me." As an outstanding student of the school and one of the top 10 experts, Dong Junhai naturally didn't want to be expelled from the school. He said, "Mr. Wu, I actually don't know what's going on. What I just told you was what Sister Hu told me. This matter has nothing to do with me. Seeing that the two of them began to shirk responsibility, Dong Junjiang naturally didn't want to get himself involved. He said, Mr. Wu, I actually don't know what's going on. I just heard someone calling for help, so I went to call you. Among the four of them, 3 of them said they didn't know anything. Wu Taiching looked at Hu Mei-er coldly. Seeing the 3 of them running faster than the other, Hu Mei-er's lungs were about to explode from anger. It was clearly your idea, this old lady helped you, but now that something has happened, you sold this old lady out. If I die, we all die together. She said, Mr. Wu, I'll tell you the truth now. The whole thing was He Kaishan's idea. Dong Junhai asked me to do it. Dong Junjiang is also an important part. They are the masterminds. I was just forced by them, nonsense. When did I come up with an idea? I'm innocent. I don't know what's going on, I was just passing by. I heard someone calling for help, so I called the teacher. Hu Mei-er, don't slander me. For a moment, the 4 of them pushed the blame to each other and quarreled. At this moment, the door opened, and Qin Haodong walked in with Zhao Xingyue. The whole thing was planned by him. After knowing that He Kaishan and the others were going to perform a badger jump on him, he started to make preparations. When Hu Mei-er entered the door, she used the bone shrinking technique to change her height. When he entered the room to change his clothes, he used the transfiguration technique to change the appearance of the little she-devil, allowing her to disguise herself as him to come here. That was how the scene that happened later happened. When Hu Mei-er called for help, the little demoness buried her head in the blanket and used medicine to wash away the disguise on her face, returning to her original appearance. When Hu Taiching arrived, he turned the whole thing 360 degrees according to the words that Qin Haodong had taught him in advance. He changed the whole thing from the blackmailed party to the blackmailed party. After entering the door, Qin Haodong asked the little witch with concern, Hongying, are you okay? Little big brother, they bullied me. They actually wanted me to do that kind of thing with them. The little witch suddenly threw herself into Qin Haodong's arms, looking aggrieved. She whispered in his ear, I did a good job, didn't I? You must cook something delicious for me. Qin Haodong patted her on the shoulder, indicating that he would definitely reward her. Then, with a face full of indignation, he said to Wu Taiching, Mr. Wu, our Black Tortoise Academy is the most famous academy in the Lingwu continent. How could this happen? These scumbags actually laid their hands on such a cute little girl. They must be punished severely. Was the little witch cute? He Kaishan and the others' hearts were about to break. Usually, everyone avoided her when they went out. Who would have the guts to lay their hands on her? Dong Junhai seemed to understand something. He shouted angrily, Qin Haodong, this is all you're doing, isn't it? Qin Haodong said innocently, I don't know what you're talking about. I just heard that Hongying was taken away by a stranger, so I rushed to have a look. I was afraid that such a naive girl would be taken advantage of by the bad guys. I didn't expect you to be up to no good. Hearing that she was repeatedly praised as cute and naive, the little witch secretly gave Qin Haodong a thumbs up. Obviously, she was very satisfied with what he said. All right, stop quarreling. As a teacher of the academy, Wu Taiching had already guessed most of the matter. Basically, He Kaishan and the others wanted to set up Qin Haodong, but they were set up by the young man in front of them. However, it was done flawlessly, without leaving any flaws. With the little witch on his side, he naturally knew how to deal with it. He looked coldly at He Kaishan and the others. As students of Black Tortoise Academy, you actually ignored the rules of the academy and conspired against your own junior sister. How do you think you should be punished? He Kaishan hurriedly cried, Mr. Wu, we're wronged. We really didn't conspire against Luo Hongying. Dong Junhai cried, yes, Mr. Wu, we usually stay as far away from Luo Hongying as possible. How dare we lay our hands on her? She's the little witch of our school. Who dares to provoke her? Now that things had come to this, he couldn't care less and directly called out Luo Hongying's nickname. The facts are right here. Do you still want to deny it? Wu Taicheng said coldly, anyway, what happened today is your fault. If you want to be lenient, you'd better get Luo Hongying's forgiveness first. Otherwise, I'll have to kick you out of the academy. As an experienced teacher, he naturally knew how to deal with this matter. He Kaishan and Dong Junhai were both excellent students of the academy. The competition between the North and South academies was about to begin. If he really expelled both of them, it would definitely cause a huge loss to his side. Furthermore, this matter was not as simple as it seemed. Just like what they had said, this little demoness usually caused chaos in the entire academy. Who would dare to take the initiative to provoke her, let alone attempt to molest her? As long as one was mentally sound, they would not do such a thing. Because of these two considerations, he adopted a compromise to deal with it. He would not only give Luo Hongying an explanation, but also not kick these people out of the academy. He Kaishan was also a very smart person. He immediately understood Wu Tiecheng's intention. To properly deal with this matter, the key was to satisfy the little witch. He immediately lowered his head and said, "Junior sister, I'm sorry. This is our fault. Please forgive us." Dong Junhai, Dong Junjiang, and Hu Meyer also knew that it was impossible to fool the little witch, so they immediately apologized to her. "I'm so scared. I'm almost scared to death by you. I'll listen to my little brother on how to deal with this matter. I'll do whatever he says." Luo Hongying found it very interesting to be praised as naive and cute. She immediately pretended to be cute and lay in his arms like a little bird. Wu Taicheng was very surprised. As a teacher of the academy, he had watched Luo Hongying grow up. Naturally, he knew what kind of character this little witch had. She had always been lawless and had the support of an extremely protective old lady. No one in the entire academy could control her, not even the dean, Luo Dongqing. Now, she was obedient to the young man in front of him. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would never have believed it. He Kaishan looked at Qin Haodong again and knew that he had underestimated this opponent. He said, "Tell me your conditions." Qin Haodong smiled slightly and said, "Since we're all classmates of the same academy and there are no serious consequences, there's no need to drive you all out of Black Tortoise Academy. How about this? You take out some money to comfort Hongying's wounded heart and I'll let this matter go." After listening to what he said, the faces of the four people on the other side became extremely ugly. Comfort a wounded soul? Aren't we the ones who are hurt? If you want to blackmail us, just say it. Why do you have to say it in such a dignified way? Dong Junhai gritted his teeth angrily, but he knew that today's matter would not be settled without compensation. He said, "How much do you want?" Qin Haodong said, "We're all classmates. Just take some money. Let's make it 2,000 top-grade spirit stones." What the hell? The four people on the opposite side almost vomited blood. Qin Haodong had already cheated them of 500 spirit stones, plus the 2,000 spirit stones, a total of 2,500 top-grade spirit stones, which was not a small number in the entire Black Tortoise Academy. Dong Junjiang cried, "Qin Haodong, aren't you blackmailing us? Isn't it a bit too much?" Qin Haodong looked at Luo Hongying in his arms and said, "They have too much spare money. Let's not ask for money." The little witch cooperated and said, "Well, Uncle Wu, just expel the four of them." He Kaishan didn't want to make things awkward, so he hurriedly cried, "It's just 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. We'll pay." Then he looked at Dong Junhai and said, "Hurry up and pay." Dong Junhai had lost a lot since he became enemies with Qin Haodong. He had lost more than 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. Plus the 2,500 in his hand, he had almost 5,000. After running the school for so many years, it was not easy for him to save so much money, but Qin Haodong had almost emptied it. When he took out the money, his heart was bleeding. "Qin Haodong, here you are." He threw a small cloth bag with 2,500 spirit stones to Qin Haodong. Not bad, you're welcome to make trouble for me in the future. Qin Haodong smiled proudly at the four people, then said goodbye to Wu Taicheng and left with the little witch and Zhao Xingyue. Wu Taicheng glared at the four people and said, behave yourself in the future. Why did you have to provoke the little witch? He Kaishan and the other three people were about to die of grievance. They had planned to teach Qin Haodong a lesson, but they didn't expect that Qin Haodong would become the little witch. They didn't take the initiative to provoke her. After Wu Taicheng left, Dong Zhenhai said bitterly, Brother He, we can't let this matter go. Why don't we challenge him? He Kaishan said gloomily, don't you understand that we have always looked down on Qin Haodong? Even if we challenge him, what's the use? If he is not sure, he can refuse us. If he agrees, are you sure you can win? Well, Dong Zhenhai was speechless for a while. Since the beginning of the fight, Qin Haodong seemed to be careless, but every time, it was as if he had planned it carefully. He never suffered a loss and took the best spirit stones from him again and again. Dong Zhenhai said, Brother He, what do you think we should do? We can't just let it go like this. I can't take it lying down. He Kaishan's face flashed with a ruthless look. Of course we can't just let it go like this. The school's freshman competition is coming soon. This guy is known as this year's freshman king, so he will definitely be among the best. According to the rules of the school, the outstanding new students will be hunted by the old students. Then our chance to take revenge will come. After listening to him, the Dong brothers' faces immediately flashed with excitement. Dong Zhenhai cried, Brother He is right. I'll see who can protect him then. Chapter 883. After leaving He Kaishan's dormitory, the little she-devil immediately giggled. Little brother, your idea is really good. It's so fun. Let's play again sometime. Qin Haodong said, it's enough to do this kind of thing once. If they didn't want to hurt us, we wouldn't have used this method. We can't do it again in the future. Well, I'll listen to you. The little she-devil suddenly threw herself into Qin Haodong's arms and hung around his neck like a koala. She said with a smile, Little brother, how was my performance today? Not bad. I can give you 100 points. The little she-devil said, is there a reward? Of course there is. The 2,000 top-grade spirit stones I got today are all yours. Qin Haodong said generously. Unexpectedly, the little she-devil pouted and said, I don't know what that thing is for. It can't be eaten. Then I have the void-breaking pill and the nature pill that I just refined. You can use them as you like. The little she-devil said, Grandpa has already tried them for me. It's useless to take any elixir for my physique. I can't improve my cultivation at this level, so I don't want those things. Qin Haodong said, What do you want? The little she-devil said with a smile, Don't you know? Of course I want delicious food. Hurry up and give me delicious food. Zhao Xingyue had been standing quietly and did not speak. But every time Qin Haodong gave the little she-devil food, she would have a share. Although she was not a full foodie like the little she-devil, she also liked delicious food. Qin Haodong's food was so delicious that she could not resist it at all. Well, this is for you. Qin Haodong said as he took out 2 Wang gift bags from the storage ring and gave one to each of the 2 girls. Fortunately, he had prepared enough snacks for her before, or he would not be able to satisfy the delicious little she-devil. Thank you, little brother. Come to me if you have such things in the future. I promise you will be satisfied. The little she-devil took the Wang gift bag, took out a snow cake and stuffed it into her mouth. Then she ate it happily. She ate very quickly, and by the time they strolled back to the dorm, she had already eaten most of the Wang gift bags in her hands. Little brother, why do you have so many delicious food? I love you to death. The little she-devil said as she jumped onto the bed. From today onwards, I'm officially staying here. No one can chase me away. It was originally a single dormitory, but now two beauties squeezed in. One was timid and didn't dare to leave, and the other was greedy for food and didn't want to leave. Qin Haodong smiled bitterly. He didn't know when he would sleep on the floor. He said, "Have you told your grandfather that you're going to stay with me?" The little witch said, "There's no need to greet him. I'm free. I can live wherever I want. Is this appropriate?" "Suitable, very suitable. Anyway, you can't chase me away." After saying that, the little witch skipped into the bathroom and took a simple shower. Then, she walked out in her sexy spaghetti strap pajamas. "Little brother, do you think I'm pretty?" She grabbed Qin Haodong's arm and jumped up again. Qin Haodong quickly pressed her shoulder and said, "Stop jumping. You're making me dizzy." This girl had a beautiful and adorable baby face, but she was born with a devilish figure. This huge contrast was enough to make any man's heart beat endlessly. Coupled with such a continuous jump, anyone would feel dizzy under the undulating undulations. "Okay, I won't jump. I'm going to sleep." The little witch and Zhao Xinyue climbed onto the bed together. The three of them were ready to sleep, but suddenly, she poked her little head out and said, "Little brother, are you lonely sleeping on the floor alone? Why don't you get on the bed too? Anyway, this bed is big enough, so the three of us won't be crowded." I'm fine here. You guys go to sleep." It sounded very tempting to share a bed, but Qin Haodong knew the pain in it. Lying with such two beautiful women and not being able to do anything was definitely crueler than the top 10 tortures of the Qing dynasty. It was better to sleep on the floor. The next morning, the three of them had breakfast. The two girls went to school as usual. Qin Haodong went to the medicine sales hall of the Pharmacist Union alone. He took out the pills he had refined yesterday and sold them. Then, he bought a large number of medicinal materials. The last time he broke through to the middle stage of the void refinement stage, he used a total of 6,000 top-grade crystal stones. At this level of cultivation, each promotion required a lot of spiritual qi, so he had to prepare enough spirit stones before he dared to break through to the late stage of the void refinement stage. After purchasing the medicinal materials, he had just left the door of the Pharmacist Union when a figure suddenly appeared in front of him. It was Luo Dongqing, the deputy dean of the Black Tortoise Academy. After seeing Qin Haodong, he shouted, "Boy, don't go. I have something to talk to you about." "Dean Luo, you didn't drink up that box of wine so quickly, did you?" Although there was a lot of wine in Qin Haodong's storage ring, it couldn't hold the old man's drinking. No, I still have some wine. I can't bear to drink so quickly." Luo Dongqing said, "I have something else to talk to you about." Qin Haodong said with a smile, "If you have something to say, just say it. I'm a very easy person to talk to. As long as you give me enough spirit stones, I'll do anything." "You little brat, you're really thinking about money." Luo Dongqing seemed to be a little embarrassed and said, "It's not convenient to talk here. Let's talk in my office." After that, he took Qin Haodong to his dean's office. This time, he made a restriction in the room, looking extremely careful. Qin Haodong asked in surprise, "Dean Luo, what are you going to do? Are you going to kill me and rob my bar?" Luo Dongqing glared at him fiercely, "Do you think I'm a robber? Besides, if I dared to touch even a finger of yours, that damned girl Hong Ying would definitely fight me to the death." Qin Haodong asked, "Then what are you going to do?" Luo Dongqing didn't answer his question. Instead, he asked, "I've heard about what happened last night. You asked Hong Ying to dress up as you and extort a lot of money from He Kaishan. Is that true?" "That's true." Qin Haodong had been prepared for this. He knew very well that Wu Taiqing would definitely report to Luo Dongqing the next day. He added, "But don't worry. I was following Hong Ying at that time. I promise no one will hurt her." Luo Dongqing said, "Hurt her? I'm not worried about that. In Black Tortoise Academy, it's good that she doesn't hurt others." Qin Haodong asked in confusion, Then what do you mean by mentioning this? He originally thought that Luo Dongqing was going to denounce him, but now it seemed that it was not the case. I. Luo Dongqing stammered for a long time. Finally, as if he had made a great decision, he suddenly became pitiful. He took Qin Haodong's hand and said, I want to ask you for a favor. As long as you can help me with this, I'll do anything you want me to do in the future. Qin Haodong asked inexplicably, Dean Luo, in terms of status, I'm just a new student. You're the deputy dean of Black Tortoise Academy. In terms of cultivation, you're a master at the peak of the form synthesis realm, and I've just stepped into the void training realm. The gap between us is so big. What can I help you with? Alas. Little Qin, although I'm a deputy dean on the surface and look very glorious, in fact, I've been suffering for so many years. Luo Dongqing sighed and said, although we can't wash our dirty linen in public, I still have to tell you about this. I've been driven out by my wife for a full 10 years. Now, she not only doesn't let me go to bed, but also doesn't allow me to step into the house. When Qin Haodong heard this, he couldn't help but laugh. Old man, I already know about your matter. Hong Ying told me yesterday. No wonder this old man sealed the whole room. It turned out that he was afraid that others would hear his embarrassing things. Luo Dongqing's old face turned red. That stinky girl, she actually said everything. In fact, it's really not my fault back then. Although that female teacher has always been interested in me, I have never done anything wrong to my wife. It's just that I drank too much that day. I don't know how I was brought home by her, but I was caught red-handed by my wife. Qin Haodong said, Dean Luo, as long as there's anything I can help you with, please feel free to tell me. Luo Dongqing said, Little Qin, my wife's character is a bit strange. She's usually so stubborn that I can't do anything about it. That stinky girl Hong Ying's character is 80% like the old woman's. The two of them are very similar. These years, the whole Black Tortoise Academy has been in a mess, and no one can deal with her. But yesterday, I found that the girl is very obedient to you. She just listens to whatever you say. Is there any trick to it? Can you teach me? As long as you can let me go home, I'll even worship you as my teacher. Qin Haodong suddenly realized that this old man wanted to learn how to pick up women from him so that he could conquer his family's lion. He said, Dean Luo, it's not that I don't want to help you, but I rely entirely on my personal charm. You can't learn it. Luo Dongqing grabbed Qin Haodong's hand and said, Little Qin, I beg you, you must help me today. You don't know that my old woman looks like a fairy, and there are countless men chasing after her all day long. I'm afraid that if too much time passes, the two of them will really drift apart, and then it will be irreparable. Qin Haodong secretly laughed. The old man said it euphemistically, but in the end, he was afraid that he would be cuckolded. Beauty was really in the eye of the beholder. Luo Hongying's grandmother must be an old woman in her 70s or 80s. How beautiful could she be? Well, for the sake of the little girl, I'll help you this time. Seeing that the old man was really pitiful, Qin Haodong decided to help him. Seeing that he agreed, Luo Dongqing immediately smiled and said, Thank you, little Qin, thank you so much. When you marry Luo Hongying in the future, I will not object. Old man, I never said I would marry your granddaughter. It doesn't matter whether you marry her or not, as long as you are happy. Luo Dongqing was now worshipping Qin Haodong like a bodhisattva. With a flattering face, she poured a glass of water and put it in front of him. Little Qin, drink some water. Qin Haodong said, In fact, it's very easy to get your wife back. There are two main ways. The first is to cater to her and make her happy. The second is to change your image and make her look at you with admiration. Luo Dongqing was like a schooled primary school student. She nodded frequently and said, Little Qin, I understand the reason, but I have thought of many ways to make her happy. She hasn't forgiven me until now. Qin Haodong asked, What else can I do? What else can I do? I just chase after her every day to apologize and explain the truth over and over again. Qin Haodong said with a shocked face, "It's been 10 years, and you've been doing this? Don't you have any other tricks?" You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.